What's up, everybody? I'm Jeremy, and you guys are watching Warful S'mores. But you guys already you all know who the hell you're watching. Anyway, super excited about tonight's guest. We were supposed to have John from Inquiline. Apparently, we had some scheduling issues. He ended up having to work tonight. No problem at all, though. We got my buddy Charlie from Regan Renee Royal Pythons joining us tonight. He was already on the list to be on the show. He just got bumped up. So super thankful to have Charlie on the show with us tonight. And he's got his supervisor with him. This might be a once-in-a-lifetime thing, folks. You guys get to see the brains behind Regan Renee Royal Pythons tonight, maybe. Who knows? I don't know, but he's definitely got his supervisor with him. So let's bring Charlie and the supervisor out. What's up, Charlie?
What's up?
So, doing good, dude. Doing good. So who's the supervisor back there making sure you behave tonight?
Regan.
Yes, what is it? What?
Regan.
Megan. Okay, that's a pretty name.
Oh, Reagan. The whole name behind the. Yeah, come on up a little bit. You gotta talk loud. Talk loud like you're doing it, like you're shooting a reel.
I was yeah, you gotta speak loud for the old man here. The construction's worn, taking its toll on my ears. We've got a couple of people in the chat already. Let's say hi to him. Sammy, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Brandon, what's going on, dude? Thank you for tuning in. Mako Morse, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Bob Reptile Morse, thank you very much for tuning in. Mariano, or I apologize if I butchered that.
His name is Marino. Yeah, he's
Marino.
He's a good friend.
All right, Marino, thank you very much for tuning in, and please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Even though I butchered your name off the start, I do apologize. It's been a very rough day today. I swear the only time it was peaceful was when I was down here in the snake room earlier. Let's see here. Matt, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, bro. Good to see you in the chat. That has us caught up right now. So, Charlie, tell us a little bit about yourself and Megan.
Yeah. Yep. Charlie from Regan Renee Royal Pythons. Named after this one right here, Reagan, who was the kind of big part of a big part of the inspiration on us kind of getting into keeping and stuff in the first place before we started looking at breeding, but also a big part of the reason why we pushed into breeding as well. We're in our third season. Third season.
Nice.
What's that?
I said nice.
Yep. We did, I think, just 2 clutches the first year. So that's why, I'm not even sure if we want to count that as a season. That's why you hear me like hesitant a little bit to say third season. We did 2 clutches the first year. We did 8 last year, and this year we could hit as many as 25. But
holy crap!
So, yeah, so
God, dude, that's a jump.
Yeah, we went kind of nuts over the last year or so. They say, right? They say, kind of see if you like it first before you go crazy. Start buying racks of 40 at a time and stuff like that. We tried to do that, and then we realized we did love it, and then we went crazy. So,
all right, I do want to apologize, Reagan. I thought you said Megan. My deepest apologies. Thank you, Charlie, for emphasizing that a little bit. That
all good.
Like
all good.
Old, bad, terrible ears sometimes, and yeah.
Nah, it's all
so. Yes, sorry about that. My deepest apologies.
That's the name. Hopefully, like I said, she was a big part of the inspiration getting into it. And hopefully, if she's still into it as she gets older, she can take it and run with it. I mean, if not, I don't mind having a business named after her. She's obviously a huge part of my life. So.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, if she's into it this early, I would like to say that she'll stick with it. I know Hadley, which is she was my youngest, but now she's the second youngest. But she's super into the snakes. Dom's not so much into it anymore. He likes helping me do the camera work and stuff. Cool. But Hadley definitely enjoys the snakes. She fights me to come down here. Some nights it's just like, sweet, it's like, just stay up, let me get the work done quick so I can come up and relax with everybody. But she definitely loves to be down here at the age. She's almost 3, so nice. Hoping that we could keep that love for the hobby going with her. Let's see here. We got John from Underworld. What's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in.
Another good buddy.
Cat Eyes, what's up? John is actually going to be on not hold on, wait here. It's
Next week, right?
next week. Yeah, it's next week,
Next
isn't
week.
it? Yeah, next week because it's Easter. Because I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to book anybody on Easter, and he goes, I was like, dude, are you sure you're okay with Easter? He's like, we're gonna be doing everything during the days, like nighttime. I'm gonna be ready to get away. So it's all right. Let's do it. Third Eyes, Jeremy, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, so what got you into reptiles, snakes, and then also what made you go from, I'm assuming you probably started off as like a hobbyist, just liking them, wanting them as a pet, but what made you kick it into a different gear to go towards the breeding aspect?
Yeah, we started with 2 pets, 2 corn snakes. That was where we started, and went down the rabbit hole. Even with them, there's all the genetics and different morphs and stuff, right? So we went down the rabbit hole of that. My wife Stephanie actually wanted to get a ball python because they're a lot different speed than corn snakes, right? And so she thought that would be nice, something you could kind of sit, hang out with, and it's not to run all over. It's not as active as of an interaction, right? Yeah. So we got our first ball python, and then that's when you really fall down the rabbit hole of like, holy smokes, there's a lot of different things you can make. We kind of always, from the first ball python, I think we knew, even from the first 2 corn snakes, I think we had a thought we might breed. A big part of our initial entry into this was when we started thinking about getting pet snakes. We did a lot of watching YouTube to learn about them and stuff. One of the first things that she found was snake discovery. So she was watching them, and this was, early in right around the beginning of the pandemic, watching them, cut like bull snake eggs open with little emojis drawn on them every week. And all the kids' toys now are blind bags and stuff anyway. So it's like, that's kind of what hatching ball pythons or snakes is for adults anyway. It's like little blind bags.
It is exactly.
And opening a pack of Pokemon cards or whatever, right? It's the same addiction, the same draw. So that's kind of where we started, right? We started grabbing like everybody does, just in pairs of things we were going to breed, 1-to-1s and stuff like that before you start figuring out how to structure projects. Eventually at some point I have a production and kind of manufacturing background. So eventually at some point I start looking at efficiency and how to do it. And then you find the whole world of, okay, you do your 1-to-4s or your 1-to-5/6s if you can get an ultrasound, whatever. That's kind of where it started to grow and take on a whole nother face.
Okay. Now, what made you decide to go the ball python route for breeding wise, as opposed to the corn snakes? Was it just solely because your wife was more like, these are a lot nicer, more my type, more the slower, happier speed, or what was the ticket, the final sale on them?
Yeah, the reason to go breed that way instead of colubrids was a couple of things, like the ease of it, not doing the brumation, all that stuff. I'm going to send her up in 1 second. We'll let her show one snake and then send her. All right. Mom came to check on her because I promised she'd be up for bed here soon. So we're both going to get in trouble.
I say, if Reagan wants to show off one of her favorite snakes, go ahead. Let her. If she's got to go to bed, I don't want to piss or I don't want to make Mom mad.
Yep. Go ahead. Go grab him. You know who you're grabbing.
Yeah, we don't want Mom's mad because I don't know how your wife is, Charlie, but hopefully I get to meet her at the barbecue if you guys come. But
yeah, I think we're planning on coming out. I don't remember whose was first. I'll catch up with you later on dates. I know Chris has something going too, right? And you have one going. I think we're trying to make both.
Okay, yeah. Chris is May 6th, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's May 6th, and then mine's July 1st. Here, let me put you up on the big screen here.
Come on up. Say what he is, nice and loud. You know what he is, right? Go ahead.
Here's Cupcake. He's mine. I named him Cupcake because he looks like a cupcake. And he's Banana Mojave Clown.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and so he mostly hangs out. We don't have a lot of pairings for him. This year, we're not actually pairing him. We did pair him last year to start something up in the G-Stripe clown project that we wanted to make some hets. So we put him with a super pastel banana GHI genetic stripe to get some GHI Mojaves and stuff like that. We actually hit pretty cool. We hit his son. What's his son's name?
Sprinkles.
Sprinkles. Yeah, we hit, we hit a super banana pastel GHI Mojave double het G-stripe clown male.
All right, you've got to show that thing off here now, quick too, before bedtime.
All right, we'll show Sprinkles and then you're off. Right?
Yeah, let's see Sprinkles too, because GHI Mojave and banana have a soft spot in my heart.
Yeah, so we hit a bunch. We hit every possible combo out of that. But this was the one male. We couldn't have got better odds. We got a 1.3 clutch. It was only 4 eggs. First time mom, but 1.3 clutch. He was the only boy. He got everything. Yeah, Mac just said Charlie has awesome boas as well, but somebody's going to reach over across the screen and correct everybody here in a second if Mac says that I have awesome boas, because I don't. Mom does, right? Mom has boas.
All right, now, what color is he exactly? Is he more like an orange?
He's tan, yellows. He had a lot of pinks in him when he first came out. The pinks are turning more to tans now, as bananas tend to do. We can throw as a comparison. We have a sister also, who is just banana, not super banana. So she's just a banana pastel GHI Mojave double het.
Okay, because I'm just in my head, I'm comparing that to my GHI Mojave banana that I have, and she's like
side by side.
A very lavender pink.
Yeah, maybe the color's not showing, maybe the purple light, I'm not sure, but this is just the banana, not the super.
Okay.
In the front here, versus him is a much lighter and more pink. Again, maybe it's just not coming through on camera as well. But they both.
Well, here, let me just that way Regan can see too. Now she's in shed, or coming out of shed. But I mean, you could see, like,
yeah. Now these have pastel in it. The mom's a super pastel, right? So that's banana GHI Mojave.
Yeah, this is just banana GHI Mojave.
So our pastel's stealing a lot of the color out, right? So
okay. That would make sense then.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if pastel would do that in that combo or not. But that was just like, it was just not many people have the GHI Mojave banana stuff that I've noticed. So you throwing it out there like that, it's like, man, it's like,
yeah,
major polymorphism going on there between all the animals, but the pastel might be the make and break of it.
And the mom, one of her 2 copies of pastel is a really nice, really bright yellow that does not fade much. So that's and I don't know which one, which copy those 2 got, because the banana and stuff's there in play. Like the Pastavi girl who's in shed, unless she shed out, and then she'll be really nice to show. She got the really bright yellow copy of pastel.
Okay.
The pastel Mojave girl is for sale. All right, you gonna say goodnight?
Good night, Regan. Thanks for being on with us tonight.
I don't care if I'm on YouTube. You're still gonna be a hug and kiss goodnight. Yeah, love you.
Let's see here. F&A, what's up? I can never remember if it's Fred that's on the F&A or if it's AJ. I think it's AJ because Fred's on the hot glass one. AJ, what's up? Hopefully I didn't screw it up. I can never remember that. Locked and loaded. What's going on, Frank? Thanks for tuning in. Chris, what's up, brother? Good to see you in the chat tonight. While we've got Chris up here on the screen there, let's just go through the sponsors of this week's episode. And definitely make sure to go and check them out. We've got on here. Let me find the right tab. See, this is a hard, tricky part here. We've got Chris at S Reptilia being one of the sponsors of tonight's episode, folks. If you are in the Pennsylvania, like Eastern PA or surrounding area, and you need cocoa to go or the chipper for your substrate, hit Chris up at S Reptilia. On top of it, he's breeding ball pythons, boas, different types of cluebirds, pine snakes, bull snakes. I think he's even doing some Mexican black king snakes this year still. That might be going out on a limb, but I'm pretty sure he's still doing them. And on top of it, blood pythons, folks. He's making some killer blood pythons. I think he's still got a few up for sale. So go check out his morph market. All of his information is in the description down below. And also, the other sponsor of tonight's episode is Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons. Make sure you guys check Nathan out. He's working a bunch of killer projects. On the ball python end, he's also starting to do some work with Chihuahua geckos. I think I said that right. I always want to call them Chihuahua geckos. I don't know why, but I think it's pronounced Chihuahua or Kahua. Anyway, he's working with those the Chihuahua geckos. He's also does some work with scaleless corn snakes, and I think they're going to be at some point maybe doing some work with some sand boas as well. I know his wife has some sand boas. They might be breeding those in the future. I'm not sure, but definitely check him out. And on top of it, Nathan is the one-stop shop for all of your branding needs. If you need banners, tablecloths, business cards, stickers, anything like that, hit Nathan up. If it's something to further your brand, shirts, even stuff like that, hit Nathan up and tell him Jeremy sent you. He will definitely get you all hooked up and set up. So thank you everybody for sponsoring this week's episode. I'm gonna put down here our little banner here of people that do sponsor the channel and that are affiliated with us. We've got Chris there, BNS, Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons. We've got the Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC. Definitely keep an eye out for when those ads start rolling again, a little bit closer to the Gettysburg show. And don't forget Husbandry Pro, folks. If you need, or if you're, I don't want to even say if you need, if you're looking for the best reptile record keeping and tracking software on the market today, here's a link for your free 30-day trial. Plus, it's in the description down below. Click it. No obligation at all to, be signed up for it. Give it a shot. Free 30 days. I would be very highly surprised if you didn't, sign up and run with it, because it saves me a crap load of time. Let's see here. We got more people popping in. YT Vents, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Don, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Chris says he's got 2 bloods left, folks. Somebody better jump on them quick. They are absolutely beautiful. I've got my eyes set on a Sumatran chrome head if Chris decides to make one for me. But I'm dead set. If Chris can make me a chrome head Sumatran, it's going to be coming home with me at some point. Yes, Chris, Chihuahua geckos. Chihuahua, Kahua, Chihuahua, it's all the same. They're little things.
Throw some unpaid, completely unscripted endorsements on quite a few of your sponsors. I've done business with Chris. I've gotten rats from him. Completely stand-up guy. Met him on a few occasions. Nathan and I, there have been snakes exchanged. Done business with him. I'll say the exact same. Great guy. Gettysburg, I'll say this. I was down in Arlington, and everybody's saying, you see how big the show is? You see how big the show is? And I was like, maybe I'm just spoiled. Now, I'll say one thing about Arlington that wasn't necessarily at Gettysburg. You have tables with like 3 DG clowns and 4 or 5 DG clowns on the tables, and you have Canova there and stuff, sure. But in terms of size, that Gettysburg show is as big as like an Arlington. It really is.
I guess I pictured Arlington being this huge.
It's not. It's higher end than some of the stuff that we see at like a Gettysburg. But in terms of physical size, it's not that much bigger than that. We're kind of spoiled with the Gettysburg show, the size that is, with them using both rooms with the soccer field area and all as well. It's pretty big. And then Husbandry Pro, we use that here. Got the QR codes on it, on little magnets on everything. Nice. Things that way. I don't track a lot of the stuff, the sheds and the poops and stuff like that, but I will use it to generate feeding lists. I do use it to track genetics on clutches and things like that to help me keep everything, 100% for, what hets and stuff are there when I go to Morph Market and things like that. So I'm a fan of all of those.
Have you used any of the store features yet that it has?
I don't use the store, no, just use Morph Market.
Okay. I was gonna say that supposedly, from what I heard through the grapevine, you're going to be able to start doing payments through the store on Husbandry Pro.
Nice.
So it's going to be similar to like a morph market, but it's, you know, no base. I mean, you've got your membership fee for Husbandry, but that's it. It's definitely, Husbandry Pro is coming a very long way, very quickly. I mean, it's outstanding. It is. Like, I don't know about you, but I've got my herp stats linked up to it. I have the spider webs, and I'm slowly rotating some of the other stuff out, but I've got the spider webs hooked up to my Husbandry Pro, so no matter where I'm at, I can look at my phone and be like, okay, everything's good temp-wise on the racks. Let's see. Brandon says, Gettysburg seems to be like a petting zoo, unfortunately. You do have a few people that come there and they want to, you know, just pet, you know, hold snakes and stuff like that. I do get that, but there is money to be, you know, spent there as well, because being set up next to Danny, you know, Danny steals all my sales. Danny's just like, people start looking at my stuff and Danny comes over, oh, come over here, look at this. No, I'm just joking. Danny doesn't do that, but Danny freaking has a killer show there every time. I can't complain either, because I normally have a rather successful show as well there. He also says, super bummed about last show. It was busy. A lot of people just coming out to get out of the house and people wanting to touch and pet everything. I don't know where you stand on this, Charlie, and you can, you know, put your point or your thought or perspective on this. The last show at Gettysburg was the first and only time that I have told somebody that they could not hold a snake. And the only reason was, and I still feel guilty to an extent, because it was a teenage kid, but him and his dad were over at Eric there from Drop Time. Like, Eric's I'm between Eric and Danny, and the kid had just been holding a snake there at Eric's stand. You know, no issues. They were seeming like maybe they were going to possibly purchase something, whatever. And I heard the dad say, you know, oh, we're not going to be getting anything right now, this and that. And then the kid comes over here to my stand. He's just standing there and we're talking a little bit. And he just goes, so can I hold a snake? It's just like, man, it's like, I don't like being that guy, because I firmly believe, you know, that's how you hook the next generation. But at the same token, it's like you just had a snake you were just holding. Like, I watched you hold it. And it's like, man, it's like, no, it's like, I'm sorry. It's like, you know, if you were, I didn't say it, but it's like, if you were really interested in actually buying a snake, or I was getting that vibe that you were going to purchase it, yeah, no problem. But if I just saw you holding a snake and then it seems like, you know, hey, you're going around just trying to hold whatever you can, you know, who knows what snakes you held and didn't hold and what's on your hands now at this point.
Yep.
It was just like, you know, I don't talk much about biosecurity, but there it was a red flag for biosecurity.
It's a biosecurity concern. It is 100%. And so that this is a tough one. I get it. And people were, so that's what I was going to say when we're talking about Gettysburg being a so-called petting zoo. People had the same complaint at Arlington, actually, because Snake Discovery, who I love, got to meet down there. They were there, and that attracted, I mean, probably literally thousands of people. I'm probably not exaggerating that. They spent the entirety of the show standing there and greeting people in a line that never ended.
I believe that. I heard that. That's how it was at, was it Tinley?
That was
people were complaining about how long the line was because it
people were upset at Arlington too, because it was blocking a lot of the vendors there. So that, and that wasn't, I don't say that's necessarily Snake Discovery's fault. I think the organizers could have moved them somewhere else. I heard the second day they possibly did move them somewhere else. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But this way they don't block up, but it still brings in, as was a couple of people said, you want to bring in the new generation of people. You want to continue to inspire people, continue to normalize it, continue to get people comfortable around it. We really need that. It's important. It's important in like the whole U.S. ARC fight and things like that we talk about too. It's a big deal. But it's a biosecurity concern with my animals. I would be concerned. I don't do shows, so I don't have to face this problem. F&A mentioned they've heard of a lot of breeders bringing like a snake that's like a retired breeder, the one that you just hang on to because you like, and then letting people touch that one. That's cool, you know. That's probably a good way to mitigate it. Or again, just maybe try to explain to people about, you know, a little bit about biosecurity. Hey, there's a lot of different animals in here today. You know, could spread things, but I don't know. You're probably someone's going to get upset. But again, I don't know. It is what it is. You can't take a risk with your collection and your investment to not upset one person. So,
Well, exactly, and I mean, and it probably like if I wouldn't have physically had seen that they were just holding a snake, it wouldn't have tripped off the alarm that how many others have they held. Because I mean,
yeah.
there have been several instances where people had asked, you know, if they couldn't hold a snake or whatever because someone's never held one before,
Yep.
whatever the case may be. And I was always like, yeah, sure, fine, no problem, whatever. Just hit the hand sanitizer. But it's like, if you're going like, if I just saw you doing it, how many did you really hold today?
Right. So, I see somebody saying they're shocked. Third eye, one of the other Jeremys, one of the many Jeremys.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just talking in terms of physical size in the venue too, though. Keep in mind, again, not to knock. I have a ton of friends who vend the Gettysburg show, but it doesn't have the same caliber of animals. I had a blast at Arlington. It still was completely worth the travel. I probably will do it again. I'm not saying just because the Gettysburg show is close in physical size, but there were tables with, you have like Bob's Balls and a couple of people who have again multiple DG clowns and stuff on their table side by side in variations, different combos and things. I mean, there's very high end things. Again, it's just because it's attracting that national audience, just a bigger talent pool, so to speak, so you cast a bigger net in terms of who's there vending, and you get kind of a higher, again, not to knock any of the many friends I had that vend Gettysburg, but a higher caliber, higher end animals,
Are you trying to say that my pastel just doesn't match up to a DG clown? Is that what you're trying to?
No, I'm sorry. The Cypress DG clown, whatever that I saw there was a stunning animal and is better than anything that I'm probably have sitting in my collection. So, it just is what it is.
No, dude, I do have to say, I mean, there's a lot of that middle ground at Gettysburg, but man, there are some breeders that's got some killer stuff. Like Danny, I know had some Exanic clown stuff. Of course, I'm going to point out the Exanic clown stuff, folks. But Nathan was basically sold out, so all of Nathan's good stuff it's been gone, and he's got to replenish that for this season. Yeah. But no, like I don't. What's the how do I want to put it? Is it all right? Like, what's the species like there at Arlington? Is it varied? Is it mainly like all ball pythons?
There were some tortoises. There were some different colubrids. There's a variation, but again, it's kind of like, and I hear the people who breed the other stuff complain every show's Ball Python Con or Ball Python Fest. I mean, it's the same. It's the same in that regard. It's a similar mix to what you see at most shows.
Okay. Ed, what's up? Thanks for tuning in, dude. Ed is building my PVC enclosures for the carpets. I should be picking those up hopefully at Chris's barbecue. So I'm super, super excited to be getting those and putting these carpets into them because I'm just ready to have, like, we're going to change this whole room around a little bit. We're going to probably get an actual desk in here once those enclosures get here, and we're going to set up a nice backdrop with the carpets behind us. So super excited for that. Thanks for tuning in, Ed, and thank you so much, dude, for building those enclosures for me. Melinda, Cuddle Time, what's up? Thanks for tuning in on your drive home. Let's see here. Dude. Third Eye says 2 years ago I couldn't even find an Ultramel at Gettysburg. I was shocked that there was 3 clown pods at last show. There was actually even a visual monsoon at the Gettysburg show. Awesome. I forget the exact monsoon combo, but there was a monsoon there at Gettysburg. So I mean, the stuff is, it's starting to come there. I would love to see like Bob's Balls or some of those bigger name breeders, or even Justin, because Justin's really not that far. He's what, Georgia?
Yeah.
So Gettysburg's a hell of a lot closer to him than what Arlington is. So but then, maybe Justin's going to steal all of our thunder. Now, then none of us will sell anything. Who knows?
I don't know. It's definitely attract an audience, so there's always some trickle down, I think. But,
oh, that's true. That's true. Everybody see the dollar signs on Justin stuff. You just got to undercut him just a little bit.
There you go. There you
go. John says, I think Gettysburg can definitely get to that level. We just have to get the buyers out more to keep the out of area guys coming back.
Yep.
That's true. I know that a lot of people had good sales there. I would like to know the foot traffic count though from this last show, because the line was out the door like all day. It was a lot of foot traffic.
Nice.
Let's see. Third Eye said Mark Cole from Cold Blood. I bought a handful from him. Okay.
He's got nice stuff. I think Chad is friends with him.
Is
Chad, the last Gettysburg I went to like a year and a half ago, I think Chad was helping him vend.
All right, maybe that's who he was helping out this time that had the monsoon.
Probably. That's probably
what referring to. It might have been because I just can't remember who he was helping, but Chad was there helping somebody. But Cuddle time. Any Lily Whites, hit up Danny at DTMG, Melinda. Danny is the crested gecko guy. Danny, you owe me something now. I don't know what, but if you sell Melinda a Lily White, bro, you owe me a little cut of that one now. Charlie's even here to hear that. It can't. I helped.
There you go.
Okay, so Jeremy there says Chad helps him a lot. Okay, so that's probably is.
Yeah.
All right, and Brandon's confirming. Yeah, that was his monsoon. Okay.
All right.
So, in all honesty, I didn't even get to see this monsoon. Like, there was one person other than our little group of people there that I got to go off and talk to, and that was Mark there, or not Mike. Mark, Mike from Scattershot. I went over there and was talking to him about some carpet python stuff. So other than that, that was really the only person out of our group I got to talk to. Anyway, let's get back to why you're here tonight, Charlie.
All right.
Go over some of the recessive projects you're working on, dude. I'm curious.
All right. I wasn't going to start here, but since we already kind of showed Cupcake and talked about some of the double het stuff in the G-Stripe Clown project that we have growing up, I'll talk about pairings for this year.
All right, awesome.
Well, I could show one more from that clutch. This was another one of the females produced, and this is the pastel GHI Mojave, right? That's, again, double het G-Stripe Clown. So she's growing up in the rack here. So hopefully this year I can hit, hopefully, a visual. I got a couple chances to hit a visual G-Stripe Clown or to hit a Krypton G-Stripe Clown with some other stuff, but I'm just getting to that project later. But so I think she's really nice. I'm excited for even possibly, like I said, to hit G-Stripe Kryptons with this. If you just saw, Garrick DeMeyer just posted a video of his, it's older now, GHI Mojave Krypton, and I think it still looks really good. If you saw GHI Mojave puzzles, they look awesome too. So I'm kind of excited to do this with G-Stripe as well in the mix and see how that plays out.
Is that the video that he posted this week? Because I didn't get to watch his video that he posted this week yet.
A day or two ago, yeah, just recently. I'll show the male for this year, the primary male for that project for this year. This is the red stripe, G-Stripe, right? Het Clown male. Ooh. So this is our primary male for that project this year. He's going to go to 2 double het females. He's already been with 2 double het females a little bit. And I tried. He didn't lock her. It was their first time together. I tried back earlier this week on Wednesday. I put him with the I'll show her too, the Super Pastel GHI Banana G-Stripe Girl. Hoping to get some, not hoping, you get at least minimum, right? Pastel G-Stripes, and you can test to find the Het Clown, right? So hoping to get some G-Stripe Het Clown coming up to replace the hoping to get some G-Stripe Het Clowns coming up to replace the double het girls or to strengthen on that project. I might keep the double het girls too, but to strengthen on that project, this girl's about as long as it gets too. She's by far the longest ball python in our collection. I don't think that it doesn't just. She's as long as I am tall almost. I'm about 5'10", and she's about.
Oh,
she's
wow.
long, yeah. She's all curled up right now, so it doesn't do it justice. She pretty much just looks yellow because there's so much going on, right? You can see on the tail end, you can see the stripe.
Well, I was gonna say on the stripe, it almost looks like it's like it just kind of glows on camera, like you can see it, but it looks like it's just like glimmering.
It's kind of wild. She's super pastel, right? And that's going to tend to wash things out. She's NGHI, right? And banana. So I mean, it's doing a lot to the stripe. You got to be careful what you put in. Something like leopard back in that project, I think, is the ticket, right? So I have the like I said, the pastel GHI Mojave double het girl coming up now. I do have leopard worked into that project in a couple other places. So I think when I get like that girl I was just showing, the GHI Mojave girl up to size, hopefully I've got like a nice leopard G-stripe het clown or leopard G-stripe clown even. There's a good possibility DG will be somewhere involved too, visual or het. But that would be for later. Get that in there too. I think the leopard GHI Mojave G-stripe clown or G-stripe kryptons are going to be insane.
I was gonna say, I bet you that would look freaking stunning, dude. I like your thought process though on how you're thinking that, you know, with that one pair with the pairing that you can test for the clown. I really like that thought because that's where my thought is with my one Exantic pairing. Because I paired it was Bumblebee doublehead Exantic clown to its mom, which was the visual Exantic. So it's like anything that comes out Exantic or female, I'm going to be testing it for the clown.
Exactly.
And everything else, it's going to, you know, just it is what it is. You know, I'm not really going to worry about testing it.
So on that clutch, right? Yeah, I know I get all G stripes out of it, right? On that clutch, if she goes with him. So any females, I'm going to test for het clown because they're potential keepers. A visual G stripe het clown is a nice upgrade over my double het girls that I have at size now that are breeding this year. And then any male that has like the right combo I'd want, so like the red stripe GHI, G stripe male, I'd be checking that for clown too because that's a nice step up. That's a nice step up too from him, right? I've now added GHI on top of what he is. So otherwise, you know, they just sell as nice G stripes, and that'll kind of be the end of that. I'm pulling my pairing list just to see if there's anything else I'm missing with him. I think it's just the two double het girls and her. I'm trying to think of what other just pure G-stripe clown project stuff I have coming up. I don't know that there is any. Yeah, just the three for him.
One thing that I don't have in the collection, and I like what it does in combos. It's just I just can't justify adding it at the moment because I'm kind of at capacity as far as I sit with recessives.
With recessives, yeah. There's some nice G-stripe Exanthic stuff going around in rotation too. I
was gonna say that's what and that's the stuff that I've seen hardcore, and it made it hard to not just jump into it right off the start. It's like, man.
Now you work TSK though, right? So
I do, yeah.
Okay, all right. Because the guy Marino earlier that was in here from You Already Know, he made some nice VPI G stripes last year that were really nice, really clean. Yeah. G stripe. Well, I guess I'm gonna try to save the heavy hitters. I'm gonna back up a step. Actually, I'm gonna go into candy stuff because I'm trying to save my other G stripe clown stuff like that. Is all the Desert Ghost stuff, and it's my heaviest hitting stuff. So I'm gonna try to save it a little bit and tease everybody.
You're good, dude. You're good.
I got some heavy stuff in that, so I'll back up a minute and talk about the project that kind of got us into projects. So once we got out of that phase of buying like 1.1 kind of pair ideas and stuff, we started to look at an actual project. I bought a candy pied male and a couple of different females to go with that. And that's a lot of what we did last year. This year, it's really become, it was our primary project last year. This year, it's really become a side project. I can pull the male out because I think he's locked right now. I have him locked with a candy female.
What's up, Ashley? Thanks for tuning in. Jason, what's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in as well.
So, and I'll segue this on the Exanthic thing. My only Exanthic in my whole collection, I sold my breeder female last year to Brandon, who's in here, actually. There's a big visual Exanthic female, VPI though, and I had bred him to her to make triple heads. I got male-female odds. I got a lot more males than females, but I do have a female triple head growing up in the rack now. So this is an adult candy pied male. So this is about as dull as a candy pied's ever going to look. He's a pretty seasoned older adult male, stud breeder for me. To do candy pieds a little bit better justice, I'll grab his daughter, who's a couple hundred grams. Well, she's about 700 grams now.
Oh, she's definitely got a lot more contrast.
Yeah, a lot more contrast in color. He's really low pattern or low white, which I love. Right?
Yeah.
He's got that. That's it for his pied. But he threw a bunch that look like this, that are kind of more medium white.
See, that's still a sharp looking steak. I mean, I like the low white stuff best as well.
Yeah.
But that low to mid, freaking beautiful, dude. And the contrast, that is just beautiful.
So
Reno said that they're gonna send you $10 for the shout out.
There you go. All right, I can throw him back because he's done. I'll grab the visual adult candy female too. She's really high contrast. Again, a lot of people say, "Oh, is that an ultra male?" Stuff like that. So this is the candy female he was just locked with. So that'll make all candies 100% het pied. This is kind of just. My males that would have done higher combos with her are not ready for this year. So next year I'll use them with her and make some combos. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Some of the stuff he produced last year. So that's her. That's one of the girls he's breeding this year. To make all candy 100% het pieds. I might keep like one candy het pied female out of that. I don't know. I already have one growing up. Last year he went to this girl and he's going to this girl again. This is a Vanilla Enchi. She was 100% het pied and 50% het candy, and last year she proved to be het for candy as well.
Oh wow!
So yeah, that was awesome. The last 2 eggs out of the clutch, Regan was with me. We don't go straight into cutting. We let some pip usually first. Most of the time, there's no real hard rules. You got to kind of play things by ear sometimes. But the last 2 didn't seem to be pipping. Everybody else had been out for a full day. So we cut the last 2. She was with me, and I was like, man, she's not proving candy. And when I cut the one, Reagan was sitting up on the ladder just like she was earlier tonight. Before I even could tell, she's sitting on the ladder. She goes, "That's a candy. That's a candy." I was like, "Is it?" And I started to peel back some of the egg a little bit to look, and I was like, "Oh, it is, man!" I was jumping up and down.
See, now let me ask you this. Have you ever thought about doing like your egg cuttings and stuff and posting it to your YouTube channel? Because I know I put a link to your YouTube channel in the description.
There's almost nothing on my YouTube.
I was gonna say, there's like nothing there. Like, have you ever thought about putting like the egg cuttings or anything on there just to show?
Yeah, like I said, they're uneventful because we don't really usually cut. We just haven't had to. I only wind up cutting if, again, something's kind of lagging behind everybody else. We got like 3 or 4 out and 2 are sitting behind. I'm like, all right, I'm going to cut these. So I start to get nervous. But we usually try to let them go kind of on their own. So,
you got more patience than me, dude. Dave, yeah, 55. I'm getting the scissors. We're gonna have an egg cutter.
I know. I don't have anything against egg cutters, but it's just we've had good success so far, so we haven't messed with it. We're letting them come on their own, and we've been okay.
I know last season we were going for bells on the one clutch, and it was like the second to the last egg we finally hit a bell, and it was like this was the perfect reason as to why I do, why I cut, because the one and only bell we hit out of that clutch, his umbilical cord was wrapped around his head.
Wow.
And it, like, I saw the bell, I saw the all white steak, and I was super happy. And then I saw the umbilical cord around its neck. I thought, oh crap, we've got an issue here.
So from that Vanilla Enchi girl I just showed, this is a male that they produce. This is a vanilla pied, 100% het candy now.
Now, do you like vanilla more than fire?
I do, because of the no white snake thing. I love that. The vanilla creams are really nice versus hitting a super fire, which is awesome. The first time you ever see a super fire, right, blow you away like a bell. But beyond that, it's like, okay, now I've got a white snake with black eyes again. Like, so I like the vanilla cream combos, right? So this guy's got a cool little jack-o'-lantern on him there. You can see how light he is. He's getting lighter every shed.
Well, yeah, that's the one, and it looks like he has an emoji there on the one spot.
Yeah,
Yep,
he's
right
got
there.
like a cool. We joke about this one here looking like a jack-o'-lantern almost.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
That's
This
the
guy's
first
going to
thing I
South
noticed
Africa,
on him.
actually. John from Underworld, who's coming on with you next week, he has
Yeah.
a buddy from South Africa who connected with me maybe 2 years ago or so. And he was like, hey, when John finally sends me a bunch of stuff down to South Africa, throw him in the box too. And he PayPal'd me the cash for him. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm shipping to South Africa then.
Nice.
So they threw an Enchi pied candy too. I didn't get any visual candy pies from that clutch. But I got what I believe is the vanilla Enchi candy het pied male. Man, I'm not even gonna be able to get his color on here.
I was gonna say he's that freaking bright due to that. The color just bleeds on him.
I might actually do better to take the light down a little bit or something, maybe. So it'll stop reflecting off of him. Trying to do all the tricks. I put the hand behind it and stuff. There he goes. You can kind of see him now.
Yeah, there you can see a little bit of contrast
in there. I don't know if it's coming through, but he's like pink in between here.
Yeah,
from the Enchi. So that's the vanilla Enchi candy, I believe. It's hard to tell, even on this just the vanilla Enchis. We know for sure we hit one. We thought we might have hit two because the other one that we thought was just the Enchi even looked way nicer than most Enchis. Actually, that was some of the stuff. I don't know if Nathan cares when I talk about it. Those two Nathan wound up with, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What made you decide to go the candy route instead of all the other all the other forms of albino?
Any other form of albino, right? It caught my eye early on, the same way that dreamsicles do with everybody, right? Except that they purple so much faster. To me, I like both. We had a lavender. Actually, we bought a lavender before we ever bought a candy, but I actually never wound up going on to breed him. Okay. Purples, and the fact that it was a little less worked is actually something that I liked about it as well. That I thought there was still a lot of potential to do things that hadn't necessarily been done yet. And this is the female vanilla candy het pied as well. That came from that female as well. She's got
you could see the contrast really nice on that one.
Yeah, she had such hard contrast. You can see like the nice yellow blushing on the neck.
Yeah.
Head blushed out. You can see some of the flaming starting to come in as she ages. Oh man, I'm so bad at the which direction on the camera on YouTube and stuff. In here, you can see
I still don't know which way to point when I point at something.
Some of the awesome flaming coming in right there. So she's I just like the contrast, and that's why I wanted to see what this will do in of all the different. I'm not huge into snows or anything because again, it's just mostly white snake. But I thought of all the different snows out there, this had the best chance of still having a lot of like pattern, like a nice ghost-like pattern in there. So, like I said, I wasn't sure what to do with the VPI girl. We bought her because she was really pretty, and we didn't have any other VPI. Again, we bought her before we were really looking at projects the right way. So I said, let me make triple hets, and I want to do that. It hadn't been done before. Now, somebody last year hit one, and I thought it looked pretty cool. But I'm still going to run its course with that project.
Okay.
There's the candy. There's the vanilla candy het pied. He's also pairing to a pastel Enchi double het girl this year. I mean, since she's double het, she just looks like pastel Enchi. Right.
Yeah, I still love just even pastel Enchi. I still love how they look.
Yeah. So he's pairing to her this year too. She's coming along. She's sitting on like 10, 11 millimeter follicles, I think now. So she's getting there.
Okay. So I actually went through ultrasounded the rest of everybody that I know that's good to go for this season.
She's nice.
Ooh, look at the yellows or oranges or whatever.
Yeah, she's holding for sure. Holding color really good up to breeding size. So I'm happy about that. That'll make some nice candy stuff.
Yeah.
And then we got a pied het candy he's breeding this year too. What other candy stuff do we have? Maybe kind of it for now. Again, not putting as much emphasis on that. I've got the visual female coming up, the candy pied female coming up. So that's my best chance with the like if that male turns out to be vanilla enchi, my best chance to go back with her, right, to produce a like a vanilla enchi candy pied or something much higher combo level on top of the double visual. We threw him the first year that we had that male, the candy pied male. We threw him to a big, like 10, 11 egg laying fire yellow belly pinstripe girl, and made this male, which I hadn't had the heart to get rid of. He's listed now on Morph Market, but if he doesn't sell, like I said, when that visual candy pied female gets up to size, I'll throw him to her, especially because I have vanilla in some of the other combos now already, right? He's got like a cool little, tiny little ringer here. It used to have a yellow stripe, but as he's getting older, it's faded. He used to have a yellow stripe right up his side right here where this little ringer thing is.
Oh, okay.
This little
I just like the contrast there on his dorsal. Like there's that dorsal pattern. I mean, it's like outlined like a Sharpie almost.
Yeah, real broken too. And it's blushed inside the pinstripe. Yellow belly does that. Yellow belly does a blushing in the pinstripes.
Okay.
So pins, I'm not huge into pinstripe, but they do make pretty nice pieds. And then, like I said, the fact that he's got fire, this was the only male that I had fire on the male side out of that, I think. And yellow belly both. It's only fire yellow belly on the male side. I have it in a female double het growing up too, but I wanted to put the fire because I have that vanilla girl. So I thought I could make the screams or whatever. That was before I hit the vanilla on the male side though, with that one I was showing earlier that I think it's the vanilla enchi candy het pied. Now I'm like, I'd probably rather go for a super vanilla than the fire fire vanilla and have to do the guess which the baby is, vanilla or fire.
That would be the big pain in the neck, and why I would never have both in my collection, because at some point I know it's going to cross paths,
Right?
And then I'll be like, crap, which is it? Angel, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Serpentine,
Nice.
Wayne, and Alice, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Chip, what's up, brother? Good to see you in the chat. I haven't seen you in a while.
Chip's a good guy.
I'm hoping Chip can make it to the barbecue as well.
Oh, nice.
I did send him the specs on it and all that stuff, so hopefully he can make the drive. I know he's got a little bit of a haul too, but he also if he can make it up for the day. I do know Adam from Proper Royals will be here, so Adam will really be here. Jeff and Angie will be here, so it's gonna just having those three making that long ass trip. Adam actually worked it into his vacation with his wife and kid, so on his way back he's gonna be crashing here. So it was just great that so many people are. They've all got long drives.
Nice. Yeah, Adam, I talked to a lot. Haven't got to meet him in person yet. Jeff and Angie are talking Celtic Bowls. They got to meet me, or I got to meet them. They got to meet me. How arrogant does that sound? I got to meet them in Arlington. What I was going to say, which is why I started crossing past on what I was trying to say, is they got to see I can have a different energy level in person. I can be like, I'm very kind of high energy, kind of ADD and stuff like that. So they got to see that at Arlington, me being like, they're talking to me at one table and then I'm at the next table and they're like, where'd he go? I'm like, I'm over here. Come on, let's go. So that was a lot of fun though. They were a blast to hang out with. We went out to eat and stuff outside of the show and hung out, not just walking around the show together. So we got to get to know each other a little bit better, and they are awesome. So.
Dude, I'm so looking forward to getting to meet them in person. I mean, talking to them on the phone, live streams, all that stuff is great, but I think there's no better interaction than like in person, face to face stuff. Like if you can make it, dude, I'll be absolutely, extremely happy to have you come. Nathan says, sorry I'm late to see. Oh, Nathan, you need to stop dirty talking Charlie like that.
There we go. I think, what was I going to say? The candy pie, he has that girl's sister, the one the candy pie visual girl, he's got her sister too.
Oh, all right.
Listen, Nathan's got some candy pie stuff sleeping over there in the rack. So I hope I'm not outing anything. I don't know if some people are secretive about what they put together, so I don't think Nathan is. But.
I don't think Nathan's not secretive about that. But yeah, I'm anxious. Like, I know Nathan hatched some really crazy pies this year, and I noticed a lot of people did too. the one clutch Nathan had, like, I think he put it up in the group chat, but like the babies looked like they were just confetti.
Wow.
Like there were all sorts of different colors in where the pattern is. Like it literally looked like confetti.
That's awesome.
Very unique looking, but it was him and somebody else I know had a clutch basically the exact same. And they were just really whacked out looking pies. Chip says, spend time with Jeff and Angie at Tinley. They're super good people. They are, Chip. They are. I always love talking to them. So I know we were kind of already slightly touched base on, but give us an update on your season, Charlie. Like, how many clutches are you thinking total? Yep. What are you hoping to hit? Like some of your most anticipated clutches.
I have 23 or 24 pairings that we're doing this year. I could push that easily to 25. There's a couple of girls I'm not sure if we're gonna pair or not. If it's not really pushing combos, if it's not really helping push the industry forward, if it's not adding a lot more genes up. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to do certain things just for production. The only clutch that I'm doing this kind of a pure production one, like I was talking about earlier, was the candy pied to the candy female. That's probably our closest thing to just a production clutch that we have. Everything else is trying to kind of move the bar forward on some of the stuff that we talked about over here we want to do. Yeah, so 23. It's going. So I was spoiled last year. Our first clutch was pipped out in like February, and our last clutch to kind of pip was around July. So I was February to July. We were 1 to 2 a month, and we were done. That was it. We were out, which was awesome at the beginning of the year because I was just dropping clutches before the market got soft, before everybody else had babies. It was awesome, and then I spent the second half of the year watching everybody post all their awesome stuff on Instagram and going, oh, when am I going to get babies again? And then I really got it now because this year it's going late for us. So now it's been like this long stretch of quiet here. It's starting to pick up. I got a clutch. I mean, she could have laid today for all I know. That'd be cool on live if I pop this open. Nothing yet. Oh, she's really close though, man. She's like, holy cow, she's close.
She's looking like a tent and doing acrobatics in there.
No, I mean, like she might lay tonight. Like it's swollen right at her tail, so it's like real fat salt, like sausage butt when they talk about when they're gonna poop, and then just a thin little tail sticking up on top of it. So I mean, she can lay me while we're talking, so, which would be amazing. But that is, I'll segue there with that. That's a blackhead calico who looks like a super blackhead basically because the calico does something with blackhead that I wouldn't have imagined. And when we saw her, actually, my wife, I looked at it and I said, this is cool. And I showed it to my wife on my phone. I think we were out like walking the dogs or something. And she goes, right now, takes the phone and messages the breeder and was like, how much? Like, what's your PayPal? Like, let's go. So we just had to have her. Last year, I put a lesser G-stripe het DG to her. She gave us about 8 or 9 eggs, 8 or 9 babies last year, which was awesome. We kept back 3 females and sold the rest of everything else. What I wanted was a blackhead calico with the hets now, right? So the het G-stripe, possible het DG, and we'll be as soon as they drop that DG test, I'm sending her shed out to see if she's not DG or not, because that's what I really wanted. I can show her. I can't show mom because, like I said, she might drop an egg on me.
No. Yeah, let mom be. We don't want to disturb her.
No, we don't want to mess with that. But I'll show the daughter. I was really excited to recreate that, and the daughter again with one het for sure and a possible on the second het. I'm really excited about this, and this will start to segue into the DGG stripe stuff we're trying to do.
And what's that again?
Blackhead calico. Now I'm almost positive it's red gene, ringer gene involved as well, because of all this floating, stringing together, some of the blushing down the dorsal, some of just the extra stuff it did with the pattern. And I can also show you why I think that there's red gene, ringer gene involved, because I have 2 sisters that I believe are just single gene calicos, again with the hets. But unless one's got het DG and the other doesn't, and it's some crazy het DG influence, the two sisters look very different, even though they're just single gene calicos. So again, it's either red gene, ringer gene floating in there, or it's a het influence from the DG. But I mean, like if you look down the dorsal, this girl is just dark. And mom's alien heads on the sides are reduced even more. I mean, they're like thin strips. They're not even like, they don't even touch down as much as hers do. But I'm really excited. I've got some red stripe and spot nose and black pastel and stuff that we're working in with those genes, with those recessives this year. So I'm really excited when I get her up the size to come back with something like that, with like a leopard or GHI, spot nose, something like that back on this with G stripe or DG in the mix. Just like the possibilities there, I'm just in love with.
That needs Xanthic, dude.
Pattern down the neck.
That darkness and with the calico in there for
the white coming up, yeah,
that would just be freaking stunning, dude.
Mom's, it's like, I wish I could show you the mom. I'll send you a picture on the side or whatever, or people can check around on the Instagram. I got a ton of pictures of her up, but the mom's whites come up even higher. The sides are even thinned out more. But thank you, Chip. Man, I'm excited about this girl. Her two sisters.
That's beautiful, dude.
They're just a calico without the black head, I'm pretty sure.
Everybody, make sure you hit that thumbs up for me, please. And on top of it, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe.
I think she's going into shed. My calico is not super high white. It's a lot of pattern smashing, like a lot of blending. See, look at this. Look at the run of pattern there.
It's throwing the pattern for a loop.
Yeah, it's a lot of blending the pattern down the sides more than it is like a sugar or something, right? Where the white, there's a ton of white coming up like you see in your bonfires and stuff. It doesn't do that as much. There's some. I can show the brother. Oh, I forgot. I kept the male. I did keep a male too, so I kept 1.3 out of that because I kept the lesser calico probable blackhead male too because I want to see if he's blackhead or not. So if he turns out to be het DG, I'll keep him and breed him. If not, whether he's blackhead or not, I might let him go because if he's just het G stripe, it's not going to do what I need it to do anyway. But I can show him. Either way, I think he's really pretty. But he's also probably got red gene ringer influence going on. He's got a lot more white. That's what made me think of it because he's got a lot more white coming up. This side, he's got these crazy little floaters on the tail and stuff. Versus
floaters,
this side,
I mean, just that side color. Crazy
streaks. Crazy pattern run. Look how long and smashed out and thin it is. Get you a look at the head's so grayed out that it's hard to say for sure, like I said, that there's necessarily blackhead in it, but lesser with the calico could be doing some weird stuff with it. Again, if there's red gene in there, that could be doing some of it. So I'm not 100%. It's kind of like a wait and breed it and find out guy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless it's not het DG, then I don't know if I'd even bother because I don't want to say waste, but I wouldn't want to waste the female if it's not going to be towards a double recessive.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Did you figure, I mean, because what's the female again?
The mom that produced that?
Yeah.
She's
you'd be throwing him back to her, correct?
No, I would put him, the best possible thing I could do with him, if I wanted to try to prove out that he was het DG, if I wanted to get to see if he's blackhead or not, would be to put him to this girl. Now we'll get to the heavy stuff. The heavy artillery. Oh, you're going blue on me? Yep.
It never fails.
Good. That is the pastel Desert Ghost G stripe. She's breeding this year. So it would make the most sense to go to something like that, to get, my best odds being he would be a best double het. But at the same time, and this is where I get torn on stuff like this, I have more powerful males I could use on her, and it'd almost be like the things that she could do are so above and beyond that anyway. Probably what happens is I wind up not pairing that male. Like I said, unless he proves to be het DG from testing, the stuff I can make with her is so above and beyond that anyway. I might not want to, you know what I'm saying? I might not want to use that male on her.
Yeah, no, I know exactly where you're coming from with that one.
pure, I guess since we're talking about DGG stripe now, I have it. Oh, this is a little bit different, right? It's the enhancer. So, because I have both, a little bit of enhancer and a little bit of DG, and I don't have much plans to mix them. There's one pairing where I'm mixing it because it's just going to make an awesome clutch either way. But this is just a G stripe het enhancer female. She was breeding this year. So she's breeding to and I'm not thrilled about the dominant gene combo that I'm going to list first, but she's breeding to a lemon blast clown. I'm a little afraid of the pinstripe in it, like I said, just because of the project. But she's breeding to a lemon blast clown, het enhancer, 50% het G stripe.
Okay.
So she's visual G stripes. We'll find out if he's G stripe or not. Minimum, you're getting your double het G stripe clowns, right? And you have 1 in 4 odds. They're both 100% het enhancers. So you have 1 in 4 odds to throw the enhancers as well.
Hit the
not terrible odds to hit both enhancer G stripes, right? That are then het clown. If he turns out to be het G stripe. Otherwise, you get some enhancer double het. So you can throw some enhancer double het G stripe clowns, which is the big project that we're working here. That's where most of our pairings are to do stuff in that project this year.
Oh, okay.
A couple
Jana,
of
what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Jana says you can send that right over, Charlie.
Did she see? Oh, I don't know when she joined. I don't know if she saw the visual female or not.
Jana, did you see the visual female he was showing off? Oh, she might have just hopped in right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I gotta.
Oh, she missed it, dude. All right, you gotta show it for her.
I'll show her again. I have.
She'll probably lose it, but.
Oh, she hasn't seen. I think she's seen this girl before. She hasn't seen. I don't think, unless maybe on Instagram because I posted her.
She just finished eating, so she's late to the party.
So she's late to the party. That's okay. Yeah. So that's the breeder female. So I'm excited about that. I'm not going to talk about what she was paired to yet, though. I'm trying to hold out.
Secrecy.
Trying to hold out. I'll talk about it eventually, but I also have an acid het G stripe female.
Show that, dude. Acid is my freaking weak spot.
I have a bell. She's not the strongest. I'll show you a confusion girl next. She's not the strongest example. She's older. I think the acid looks a lot better with pastel or like a yellow belly or something like that to really enhance the colors on it. She's got the whacked out pattern for sure. She's het G stripe, and we have been pairing a pastel DGG stripe het cryptic to her. I'll show him next, and then we'll talk about some of the stuff that he's pairing to. But yeah, that's what she's doing this year to try to get some acid G stripes that are het DG. That'll be fun.
Dude, acid. I cannot wait to get acid into my collection. Hopefully that happens this year. So the plan is Angie's getting a baby carpet python of her pick, from what hatches this year, and they're hooking me up with an acid male. So I'm gonna run that acid to basically everything freaking exanthic, and we're gonna make some killer babies down the line with it.
So I'll show the 2 girls that we have growing up in this project.
Acid clown male, nice, Jana.
And then you'll I guess keep that in mind as I show what we're pairing for this year, because we're trying to make a male for those girls. So this is a vanilla triple het enhancer G stripe clown, possible het hypo.
Oh man! All right, now do you have a DG this is probably a really stupid question? A single gene DG and a single gene enhancer, or an enhancer and DG in the same combo? I've always been curious as the actual comparison, to compare it to
the same combo. No, my visual enhancer is like 4 other things on top. Okay. So, and then my visual DGs, I have a visual DG het clown male, and then I have a pastel DGG stripe male. I I mean, I could show those two side by side, the DG versus the enhancer, but the combos are different. So
Okay. I wasn't sure. I've always, I hear Billy talk about enhancer all the time and him explaining what they do differently. But I'm a very visual person. So
yeah. So I don't have a visual for you.
what up, Jolly?
He's got more of a sandy, sandy or creamy color to it, right? Tan more, and then the enhancer to me is more yellow and then has blushing in the blacks, where DG's blacks are flat black, right?
Okay.
So this is the pastel confusion triple
Okay,
head.
so you've got confusion and acid.
Yeah. This is much stronger, but it also has pastel too, to be fair. It's got crazy head influence. She's in triple head also for enhancer, G-stripe, and clown.
Okay. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate that.
So these
Dude,
are
all right. That is
growing
beautiful.
up.
I like that.
Oh, I love this girl. Thank you, though. Man,
See, here's my ultimate thing, as dumb as this sounds, and somebody's probably going to laugh at me, tell me that that's wasting the amazingness of how acid is. I want to put the acid into a bumblebee leopard.
Interesting.
And then throw the Xanthic twist into it as well. But the bumblebee leopard acid looks like a poor man's monsoon. The thing is absolutely out of this world.
So I have two males that would be really exciting to pair to her now, but I've got time for this and the vanilla girl both to get up to size. So we're going to try to make an even better male between now and then. That's the goal for most of the pairings this year. Those are two triple het girls coming up. I have a quad het female breeding this. No, let me back up. I'll go back to that. All right, I'll show the backup male in this project, and he's still breeding quite a few females on his own too this year.
Jana just sent me this thing with the comparison, and I can already just see the. Okay, I see exactly. Okay, I see what you're talking about with the blushings in the blacks, and yep. Man, that makes it really hard to decide what would look better in Xanthic. Oh my god.
Pastel, DGG stripe, het cryptic, breeder male. He's pairing no less than 4, maybe 5 females this year. He's been pairing a lot more than that, but when I show you the next male on the project, what I'm trying to do on the last lock, so I have another male with the same recessives. On the last lock on a lot of them, I may switch and throw the other male in because he's got the same recessives, but a couple more dominant genes on top.
Okay.
So instead of pastel, I have chances to hit some cool, what I think are a little bit cooler combos. But I try to stick with G stripes with a nice solid stripe without a lot of breaks in it.
Dude, that would look so nice in Xanthic. Oh my god.
Xanthics look really good.
Everybody probably is so sick and tired of me in my Xanthic train, but I don't care. Xanthic is the one thing that gets me freaking excited about these snakes.
So he's pairing. Let me pull up the list. He is pairing a. No, he's not going to pair her. He's pairing a pastel hypo het clown. So there's a chance, there's 1 in 4 chance to make kryptons there, right? That are pastel or super pastel or super pastel kryptons that would then be 100% het for desert ghost, G-stripe, and hypo. They'd technically be a 5 het, right? But the krypton shows up as visual. So that's her. Not a lot to see. People have seen pastel hypos before, but just to connect the dots, right? DGG stripe, het cryptic to the pastel hypo het clown girl. There we go. So I like her. She's cool. He's also pairing pastel lesser clown. Again, to make kryptons, so that's a 50% chance of kryptons, right? With
What else?
50% chance of making Kryptons that are het for DG and G stripe with super pastel, and your lesser in the mix. Not a lot to see here, right? People have seen pastel lesser clowns before.
They're still beautiful though.
I do like them. I mean, I liked it. I love the head stamp on her. That was why we bought her. Just the crazy like spotting that they get on their heads.
Yeah.
And she almost has like eyelashes, like little black lines next to her eyes. Man, I can't get her to stay. There we go. So, I mean, to me, she's still really pretty. I like her, but making some Kryptons that are double het and making some guaranteed triple hets there, right? Because you're taking visual DGG stripe to a clown, so you're making triple hets there.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad about any females that come out of any of those pairings.
Malaysia, what's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in.
Malaysia, what's up?
What up,
She's
Zach?
also pairing.
Now I gotta ask you: are you looking at all this stuff on your Husbandry Pro?
No, I do have it in there in the what do you call it?
The breeding plan.
Your breeding plan. I do have it in there because when I scan in the follicle sizes, it all tracks to that, right?
Yeah.
But no, I have an Excel sheet.
Okay.
Huge nerd. I have an Excel sheet that adds what the most recent pairing, the most recent lock that she had was, what versus follicle size, and tells me who to actually lock a male with this time. And so
I was trying to make a plug for it. Sorry, Robert. I tried.
This is the other girl he's going with. Come on. This is the pastel Enchi clown. Again, to make Kryptons that are double hat DGG stripe, or to make triple hats if you miss on the Krypton. I really like
love that head, dude.
The head stamp is awesome. Wait till you see the other girl that's pairing with the other male. Remember, this is the pairings for the backup male for this project for us this year. So
that's beautiful, dude.
I like her a lot. Good segue to the other male, because I think that's about run its course on that. We're gonna pause and come back to that one. I'm going to jump off of that project for a second because I really want to show this girl and then come right back to it. We have a DG Het Clown male. We only planned to have him pair. I got him as a backup. We only planned to have him pair to 2 girls this year and then just be here as a backup. Other than that, this is a Mojave Wookiee.
Oh.
So I just love all the crazy floating and the high white stuff that's going on up the sides here. I'm really excited. She's starting to build follicles. I don't remember where she was at. She's up around 10 millimeters now, so just starting. No guarantee, right? But I love this, what's going on down here by the tail. All that crazy pattern disruption there.
Dude, that's
the stripe is nice. So we got a DG Het Clown going to her. I just need to get some Mojave Wookiees and then have them test for the Het Clown, right? I'll know they're 100% Het DG. I just need to get some that test for the Het Clown.
Now, did you getting into the Wookiee project, like, are you a Star Wars person at all? Like, did that have any influence? Because that's what makes me want to get into it, is just because of how much I love Star Wars.
I know you're going to get upset with me about this.
Oh, God. Don't say it, Charlie. Don't say it. I've never seen it happen.
I've seen 2 now. It had been 1 until about a year ago. 2 Star Wars movies in their entirety. No, 3. I saw the blow up the Death Star by driving down the exhaust thing and shooting the missile in the exhaust pipe. That one.
One
years ago as a kid with my grandmother. And then I saw the Jar Jar Binks one in theaters. And then last year sometime, because a good buddy of mine, Randy from Pope County, is big into Star Wars, I watched like one more Star Wars movie. Whatever he I don't even remember which one it was now. Whatever he told me, I said, give them to me in like chronological order. So whatever one he told me was like the first one I should watch if I'm trying to keep the timeline in sequence, because I'm OCD and I need that in my life. That's what I watched. So I'm pretty sure the guy who's going to become Darth Vader was running around as a kid, and the one chick was pretending not to be the princess. She was pretending to be the princess's helper, and she was actually the princess.
I like when I said it. The one chick.
Yeah, so that's all I've seen on stuff. Oh no, really? No Mandalorian, none of that.
Oh, Charlie.
No, none of that. Sorry. Oh. I know. I'm getting unfollowed right now. I'm getting alerts on Instagram that I got.
All right, when you come up to the barbecue, dude, I'm locking you and Jeff up in the man cave, and I'm putting on Star Wars on just repeat. You guys are gonna sit up there all day. You can't come down to the barbecue until you watch 1 through 6. I'll let you go on 7, 8, and 9 because those are dead to me. But 1 through 6, we got to get you on.
The reason I got into Wookiee was basically because it's different and it's dark, right? So we got Blackhead. You heard me talk about working Blackhead in with my DGG stripe and clown stuff. The Blackhead Calico girl this year, I didn't even touch on that. Oh, yes, I did. She was paired to a Lemon Blast Clown, Het Enhancer, 50% Het G-Stripe. So, again, I know that they are – any of the blackheads that I get out from the Blackhead Calico girl I showed earlier, right, are Het for Clown. I'll be able to hopefully here soon test for the Het DG, and there's a chance they're Het for G-Stripe as well. Trying to get Blackhead into that project, trying to get the Wookiee into that project, again, to make either clowns or Kryptons. Those are almost something I'm getting more interested in as time goes by. GHI I mentioned, right? And then I'm going to show a black pastel girl here in a minute. I just go work dark jeans into all this stuff at this point. That's what excites me. So
I was just asking you, did you ever get that black pastel girl that you were looking for?
I have.
I think it was last year you were talking about it.
Probably then. Yeah, that's probably about the time I got this girl. I have a black pastel girl that I'm super stoked about. When I tell you the pairing, you might understand. Probably understand why I'm so excited. Let me see if I covered kind of everything else that I think makes sense to talk about. I got
Stephen and Courtney, what's up? Thanks for tuning in.
I'll plug this here for a minute. I have available pastel Enchi leopard breeder GG male, because he's just kind of fallen off now. When I bought the male that I'm going to show, he replaced him in all of his possible pairings, but he's got this awesome cross head stamp. Can I get
I was going to say,
there we go.
That's beautiful. I'm a sucker. All right, I'm not a football person, but doesn't that look like the Saints logo or whatever in football?
Oh, yeah, almost, yeah.
I might really be offending somebody that's a Saints fan, but to me, not being a super football fan, that's kind of what that looked like.
So I got him, and then I have
this chair keeps going up and down. What the hell?
And then here's another one that actually became a backup. He's pastel. No, he's just Enchi. This is Enchi, and he's quad het DGG stripe clown and pied. He's breeder size. He had actually locked a female a couple of times, but then I stopped using him and switched directions. So he's quad het. I have a quad het female. That's who I put him to. She didn't have any follicles yet, and I had him thrown him in with her, and he locked her, and she still didn't have any follicles. That was like mid to late last year. She might have been just a little bit young yet and wasn't ready. She wasn't going. So then this year, started to ultrasound her just a couple weeks ago, and she did finally have 5 millimeter follicles, and I've changed to the male I'm about to show, and that's the male I'm going to run with her from here on out. I'm not too worried, like I said, about changing. He only locked with her once or twice, that male, and she wasn't building anything. It was last year, and the odds I get something out of this that I can't ID and know for sure it's from the male I'm about to show are slim. There's 3 dominant or co-doms or incomplete doms in play. So, the odds that you get something that's just a straight up normal and then doesn't hit for one of the other things, like he's a het cryptic, so it doesn't hit for a Krypton or something like that, versus hits for a clown, are really statistically really slim. Let me show him, I guess. We'll move on to that.
All right. What class do you start pairing your girls at? Like, do you wait till they hit the 1,500 gram mark? Do you go by what the ultrasound's telling you follicle wise? What's
Yeah.
what's your method on that one?
If they're, I don't wait all the way till 1,500. When they get close, I will start pairing. The mindset being they're going to eat plenty enough meals by the time, if that's their first ever lock and she's 1,350, 1,400, by the time she would get to the point where she's laying, she's going to have plenty of meals in her and she's going to be well past the 15 mark. So when we get close, I'll start, especially if the ultrasound tells me so. If the ultrasound says that she's starting to be ready, I mean, who am I to tell her she's not ready?
That's the one thing that's giving me my shot at my Xanthic clowns this year, because a female I produced my first year, I threw the ultrasound to her and she had, I forget what size her follicles were when I first hit her with the ultrasound, and now I thought she would have ovulated by now. I threw the ultrasound to her today just because I'm like, okay, did she get up to like all but there, and did she start to reabsorb, or what the heck's going on? Threw the ultrasound to her, and the follicle is bigger than what my screen is. So my screen, if you go edge to edge, it's 40 millimeters. If you would go by what the technical outline of the follicle would be, it would be about 42. So I'm thinking, because she's like, I haven't seen a visual ovulation, so she's got to go like literally like any freaking day.
40, she's got to be there. I love that when they finally get so big you can't even catch the edges on screen.
Yeah, dude, well, it's nice. Like, she's right there at, like I said, like 42. I've got two other girls that are sitting right at 39, 40. So basically, I'm gonna have 3 clutches in one lump sum, and then I'm gonna have one straggler after that. So it's like my season's spread out, because the next clutch that's due to be laid is my carpet clutch. So I'll have the carpet clutch here mid April, but my Xanthic clutch is hatching mid to late April. So one clutch is, it's a nice constant flow through the incubator. But at one point I'm going to be slammed here with just those last couple clutches, and as long as everything sells the way I predict, I'm good. If they end up sitting a little while, I'm going to have to get some extra rack space.
I'm okay with most everything that we're pairing this year sitting, except some of the males. There might get to a point where the males are going to be redundant, right? And that'll bother me a little, but almost every pairing we're doing, I did, again, knowing that it could potentially be a down market year. I don't believe it is. Actually, I've had nothing but success so far this year, so I'm not one of the fear mongers. I'm not going to be out. You're not going to hear me say that's but it's potentially is. There was a lot of talk about it. I could see why. There's economic signs that people might want to spend less money. I get it. But so again, I'm not doing a lot of just production clutches with that in mind. And I'm doing clutches where almost every female I'd be okay with keeping. This is the primary male for that project for this year. Now, this is a red stripe, yellow belly, spot nose, DGG stripe, het cryptic.
Dude, I love what Red Stripe's doing in that freaking combo. Holy shoot.
And the spot nose is really the ticket for the pattern here, because you saw the pastel DGG stripe male, and this is one of the ones where there's technically a difference. This male is actually enhancer. But if you saw the him, there wasn't much pattern left on the sides. I would say the spot nose, I think, is the biggest thing to attribute that to, that all the pattern came back down the sides.
Okay.
Maybe the red stripe in play a little bit. Maybe even yellow belly is probably fair to say. I mean, you got some of the all the way up here, right? Some of the lifting and stuff like that going on. So we'll take him to a female that has yellow belly, the same fire yellow belly pinstripe girl. I wasn't even going to breed her, but I put the ultrasound on her. She was like, I think high teens, close to 20 millimeters. She lays 10, 11 eggs for me. So I said, I threw him to her. So we might get some ivories, which I'm not making ivories for the sake of making ivories, but I'll know they're 100% double het and possibly carry the cryptic as well. So again, any females on that I'm okay with. There's fire in there as well. So to get a female, yellow belly double het or ivory, so super yellow belly, right, double het out of that, I'm okay with. You know what I mean? And then again, she may still have the cryptic in there too. So,
and plus, I mean, yeah, you might be hitting making that the super yellow belly, but let's face it, yellow belly goes so good in so many combos. So, like, are you really gonna be upset over it either?
No, exactly. Since they would be for breeding anyway, they're not necessarily visuals. The other thing I'm excited about, and the girl's not even here yet. Here, sometime around the 14th, I have a gravel het DG female coming in.
Ooh.
So with this male, we have the chance to hit highways and DG highways that are het G stripe and 50% het cryptic in there. You also have spot nose and red stripe floating around in there too. So you could hit a spot nose DG highway or a red stripe DG highway het G stripe. So that'll do a lot for me for just the DG G stripe side of that project. But most of the stuff I'm doing with him, just like the other het cryptic male I showed, is all to head towards the DGG stripe clown or DGG stripe cryptic project. So to try to go for triples. I do have him. He's the one now pairing to the quad het female. So you have the possibility to hit a DGG stripe krypton, a combo. So you have pastel yellow belly, spot nose, and red stripe in the mix. So combo DGG stripe krypton. That's still 50% het pied, which you can test for. So, which I don't even know.
I was just saying, you're setting yourself up to where you're lining your pairings up so that way what you can't tell for sure, you can test it for sure.
Yep.
I really like that mindset, dude.
It's why I landed on a lot of visual on the DGG stripe more than on the clowns, because I could have got clown het DGs or clown het G stripes, but I wanted the 50% to be in the clown so I could go find it still, or even in the pied. Yes, I could go find it still. Exactly. So he's also going to pair to you were just talking about the black pastel female. Let me grab her. Right. So keep in mind, this is yellow belly, spot nose, and red stripe. Right. So he's going to pair to a leopard black pastel het clown. So you have all and I know it's a long shot, but you have all the stuff that's in me. I'm not a big combo chaser. I'm not a big Batman or Pompeii chaser. I like them, but my model isn't to try to make a bunch of those. But you have all the genes in play to make the Pompeii.
Then you can hit it.
You can hit it on a Krypton. It would be het DG and het G stripe as well, right? So that's why I'm excited about that. And I also just love her. She's Barnhart black pastel. She wants to eat my face, follicles, and she's ready to eat.
You got the Rolls Royce of black pastels.
She's leopard Barnhart black pastel het clown, and she is. Wow. I mean, this is why I said when you asked, I was like, yeah, I got the one I wanted. I landed on something I'm thrilled about. I mean, dude is yellow belly listed. I don't think she actually is. I suppose I could test for that too. Maybe I want to before I turn around and hit an ivory and not know if I'm sitting on a Pompeii. Maybe the Krypton Pompeii. I don't know what they call that, but
that's one thing. Like with the Bruce Wayne that I got from Danny, she possibly could have red stripe. And out of all the leopard spot nose het clowns I've ever seen, I've not seen one that looks like this girl, that unless they had the red stripe. So
I saw that the other day. I think you showed that in the chat, right?
Yeah, I can show her off again. And
she was awesome. You should show her. There's also, so here's the thing too, right? There's leopard and spot nose in this, so I could miss on the Pompeii version of the Krypton version of the Pompeii, but I could hit a Krypton version of a Batman still. That's again het DG and G stripe.
Yeah.
So still a lot of fun stuff. That's why I'm just really excited for that combo all around. There's just a lot of fun things that could happen there.
Brandon says Krypton Pompeii looks better than the clown version.
Awesome. I hope that's true. I think Brandon sent me the picture. I think Justin hit that. The Krypton version of Pompeii and het DG and G strip too, of course. Yeah, didn't she have a lot of striping on the tail end or something on her dorsal?
No, you might be thinking of that pewter leopard girl I produced that's got that crazy pastel line of mine. No, this is just the leopard spot nose het clown, possible red stripe.
Nice. Nice. She's gorgeous either way.
But no, that one you're talking about, I think this is the one you're talking about anyway. She's like, so far, my crown jewel that I produced.
Ooh.
She's a little full. She just ate the other night. But this girl is the one you're talking about, I think.
Oh, she's pretty too. What is this?
It's got the striping on the.
Yeah. What is this one?
This is pewter leopard het clown, but this is that crazy pastel line I've got coming from my bumblebee clown.
I'd expect pewter to be a little more washed out. No, with the leopard, maybe not. It's really broken up too. That's cool.
Now I've got the same mom that I used for this pairing. I have a male that was a pewter leopard het DG, and this girl looks way better than the het DG version. So that's one way that I know, or I'm pretty sure that this one has the crazy pastel line from the clown male.
Nice.
She was probably my favorite that I produced last season. Actually, maybe my favorite I've produced so far. I'm a sucker for leopard. I love leopard stuff.
I like leopard, and since I do a lot of G-stripe, leopard's almost a necessity. Because some things will tend to try to erase your pattern on your G-stripe stuff, and leopard throws a lot of it back in. A lot of nice striping, nice stuff back down the sides too. Here's the other girl. So I showed that pastel Lynchy clown girl earlier, and we were talking about how reduced she was and how she looked. I have her sister also, which again is going to this. So red stripe spot nose, yellow belly, DGG stripe cryptic male, right? She's similar, right? The other girl was a pastel Enchi. This is the pastel Enchi fire clown. Visual clown. So again, guaranteed triple het, right, is your base. Your triple het for the enhancer G-stripe clowns, guaranteed. You can hit Kryptons. You got 50% chance because she's a visual clown to hit a Krypton. And then you've got pastel, Enchi fire. She's an Enchi firefly, right? Pastel, Enchi fire, yellow belly, spot nose, and red stripe all in the mix to make your Kryptons and stuff like that. So
that's beautiful, dude. Now, when are you going to be going for that this year? Or is that next year's?
No, they're pairing this year. These are all pairing for this year. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm really, really excited. She's starting to get some follicles now and starting to eat like crazy too. So I'm really excited to get combos out of this. There's just so much at play there. It's just going to be a fun clutch, right? I mean, you're turning around this is spot nose fire, triple het. This is a spot nose fire Krypton. This is a red stripe. You know what I mean?
It's going to be some crazy stuff.
There's just a lot of really cool Kryptons and stuff that'll come out of that. So
I've got to wait till next year to work for my triple het or my triple visual project.
Yeah. So I hope, somewhere along the line here, I've got pairings with pretty decent odds to hit. Won't hit the DGG stripe clown, but I can hit a DGG stripe Krypton, which is a step up. And then I have the two visual DGG stripe het cryptics, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say you've got.
Yeah. It would act like the triple, right?
Yeah, it would act like the triple, but it's technically a quad.
Yeah, double visual and a double het, right? But it would act like a triple visual, which would be a step up and allows, again, for some more diversity in the clutches where you might hit clowns or you might hit Kryptons when you take him back to stuff. So,
dude, I'm not gonna lie, my head is spinning. We've basically gotten into this thing at the same time. And what you're showing off makes me feel like I just need to pack my stuff up and hang it and put the towel in.
Absolutely not.
Some killer stuff, dude. Holy crap.
Yeah, everybody has a different trajectory. Everybody has a different base that they can work from to get started. I have a bit of a not a bit. I have a business background. So I had a comfort level with investing a significant amount. Once I started to go through the math and started to look at this, and it makes a ton of sense. When I hear you hear like a Billy talk about, oh no, like people must be doing it wrong. I listen to that, not just from listening to him, but when I look at the numbers, I'm like, he's right. I mean, you must just not be like, so I had a comfort level in investing. I'm just, blessed in the day job, that we're doing well, and I had the ability to do it. And so people start from different places, and there's no reason somebody should think to pack it up. You're one good, male being produced away from taking your collection and ramping it up a whole notch, right? Like, you know what I mean? So somebody, like, I talk to people and they're like, well, I have a chance to hit, this double visual with a het male or triple visual male. Your next year after he's up to size and breeding is a completely different ball game now. All of a sudden, like, those double het females and even, stuff like that, or even single visual, single het females, are, not that pricey, but once you have that really powerful male, you again have better odds, and then you make better females that come up behind them. There's so many different ways to do it. It's just about whatever.
There is, and this was one thing I learned, because when we're talking about Billy's Patreon and stuff there in our chat, when I was on his Patreon, that was the one thing during one of our Q&As he was going over, was like, there's so many different ways you can go about doing this. You can either invest a bunch of money into it and get, I'm going to say, a faster return on it, just because of you're investing more to get to that point. Or you could take the little bit longer, a little bit slower, maybe a little bit rougher road, but depending on your financial situation, that may be how you have to do it. That's how I have to do it.
It's a risk tolerance thing. You can't, the math is great, and I do believe the returns are awesome. We've seen it. It's gone kind of exactly as we thought it would the first full year, which was last year for us. But it doesn't mean that everybody should take every penny they have and max out and go crazy, because, it's about risk tolerance. You can't mortgage the house on it. I mean, it's just, I don't, you know what I mean? You can't put your family at risk. You got to keep a roof over the family and the house and stuff like that. So you got to get what you can, the best things that you can, the smartest investments you can make with what's at your disposal. And then, catch a little bit of luck and a nice, like I said, a nice male that steps you up, and all of a sudden you're on your way. So, yeah.
Now, Jeremy, here's breeder 1, breeder 2, breeder 3. Exactly. I remember through that talk.
I haven't seen that whole series yet. I did this morning. Go ahead and just jump into Billy's Patreon. It just seems like such a tight-knit group. Like I was telling you, I just thought it'd be good to connect with everybody and stuff like that. I got possibly 25 pairings this year. A lot of them I'm excited about. So I just wanted to connect with some people to make sure I'm not sitting on stuff. And again, for some knowledge exchange. I don't pretend to think I have a business background, but it's a very, very different industry from this. I have a production, manufacturing, business background. I'm educated in it as well, but I don't pretend to know everything as far as this industry and this game goes. And then from the husbandry side too, you can always learn more. The second you think you can't learn something, you're done.
Yes, I 100% freaking agree with that one, dude.
So, and you learn from all different types of people from all walks of life too. People just have perspectives and things they've done and experience that you haven't. You have to be open-minded. So I just thought it was a good opportunity to get in with, what seemed like a tight-knit group. They seem to support each other a ton. I see all the Billy Patreon people shouting each other out every time they're in some kind of a live or something. They're all saying hi to each other and stuff. So when I was like, I hated getting out of it, but at the same token, like at the tier I was at, and with everything going on, I was even having a hard time making the Q&A. So like the one thing where I was pulling knowledge from, I wasn't able to make the time to go do it because I had wife and kids, the snakes, the YouTube, like it was just, and then work. I have a very unpredictable schedule doing construction. Some nights I may not get home till 6, 7 o'clock at night. So it was just a very pain in the neck to juggle everything. I know, granted, Billy's
Patreon stuff is normally on. I think the Q&As were on Sundays, but then there came, the scheduling issue where my live streams on Sunday. I think his was like started an hour before. It was just like a scheduling nightmare, and like I said, I hated to do it, and I still talk to Billy, so I'm thankful and maybe he doesn't even know I'm not on it. I don't know. But Billy, if you're watching this, dude, I really didn't want to have to do it, but it's just kind of, at some point I would like to join back up on it, maybe get on the higher tier a little bit to where like helps you work with more of your pairings and everything.
Yeah.
Get a little bit more of that mentorship from him on that aspect. But for where I was at, I just, that money I was spending on that, it's like, you know what? It's like, it was only $25 a month. Yeah. But that was when I was saving up for my ultrasounds. Like that $25, I could be throwing it into the ultrasound fund. So that's like, and that's also where I remember him talking, about, where if you've got to cut costs in here or there to accomplish certain things, that's just what you got to do. 100%. And that was the one thing where I took from that, hey, that $25 can go towards that ultrasound. And that ultrasound, I don't care what anybody says, if you're pro ultrasound or more if you're anti ultrasound, that ultrasound saved my ass this year. If it would not have been for that ultrasound, one, I would not have known that my girl that could give me the Xanthic clowns this year was ready to go. Secondly, if it wasn't for that ultrasound, I would have never had my chance at my carpet clutch this year.
If you've been doing this 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, and you've been palpating, you've had a great level of success, and you're comfortable not getting ultrasound, fine. But I think if you're new, for me, it was a huge deal. Especially in like the first year, you can read about the signs, you can hear about the signs to look for, so to speak, bull wrapping, sitting on the cool side, etc. You don't have that tacit knowledge. You don't have that. You haven't seen it yourself. And so it was harder to connect the dots with the ultrasound. Yep. It allowed me to go, okay, here's the follicles. Okay, now I see what there's, and just to really draw the connection instead of think that she's bull wrapping and she just was hot that one day. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Yep. Like, it started bringing me up. And then even if you've been around for a while, you never know. It could, again, once you think you can't learn anything or you can't grow, I mean, you're done. It may step you up. It may help you more because you may have been second guessing or have great success in spite of it. And there were times you second guessed and stuff like that all along. And I can tell you the ultrasound got us at least a third this year, clutches that we would not have otherwise got without it. And what I mean is when we first bought the ultrasound, we had 2 breeder females that when we first bought the ultrasound, that first year that I was talking about earlier, I wasn't sure if I count as our first year or not. It was February and everybody says pair ball pythons in October or whatever. And, yep. Especially as a brand new person, I was sitting and waiting and I wasn't going to pair them. We got the ultrasound in because we said, we're going to just invest in it anyway. And then we said, well, what the hell? It's here. We're going to play with it. And we put it on a female and she was sitting at like 12 millimeters. And I said, oh, crap. And we threw the male in and boom, we had a clutch shortly after, like, within a couple months, a few more pairings. That again, I don't think we would have even looked. And I looked in October and she may have, and maybe not, but she may have reabsorbed by then. And we may have missed it completely. And that was a candy pied to a pied het candy. So we got 4 candy pieds and 2 pied 100% het candies as our first clutch in our first year of moving from trying to get from being keepers to breeding, which was a huge deal for us. Huge cash into the operation, paid the ultrasound off 2 times.
Itself right there.
The first animal sold, the ultrasound was paid for. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, and this is pandemic prices too, and animals were moving, so it was a whole different story.
Congrats, Jamie. Which ultrasound are you getting?
Awesome.
Jamie's getting their ultrasound tomorrow, apparently. Yeah, dude. Like, well, you were in the chat that day when basically my whole carpet world came plummeting to the ground.
Yeah. With the male-female swap.
Yeah, the female deciding to be a male, and me just taking the breeder at their word, all that good stuff.
Yep.
But dude, when I threw that ultrasound on that carpet and I saw, I think she was at 17 mil follicles, because I wouldn't have paired her till next season. So seeing that 17 mil follicles, and they say carpets should be about 4 years old. She's 3.5. It's like, you know what? It's like, if she's got the follicles at that size, like I'm a freaking idiot if I don't take this, especially since I just lost my carpet clutch if I don't do this. So I went and did it. And then here's another interesting fact as well. I went through a bunch of, the carpet community and asking, well, what size follicles do carpets ovulate at? Because that was something I could not find a number on. I asked, I don't even remember how many people I asked, and they all told me they didn't know. Like, carpet pythons breed seasonally. We don't use ultrasounds. We just pair them, in the winter to springtime, and it is what it is. And that drove me to, like, it drove me crazy, because it's like, how can you not, like, even just like this wanting to know what's going on inside and at what size everything's doing all this. Why wouldn't you want to know this? So that gave me more of a drive. I kept more of a, I probably shouldn't have messed with her as much as I did, but I would ultrasound her like once a week, once every 2 weeks, just to see if I couldn't pinpoint at what size she would ovulate at. Well, I missed the ovulation because I already got the prelay shed. But from what I was told from my best source was that they ovulate about 25 millimeters. And that roughly would have been about what I had been seeing on the ultrasound. It was like that 25 to 30 millimeter point was when she, in theory, should have, ovulated. So
I never even thought about that question because we're only in the one species. So it's just, to me, it's like just like a known, with ball pythons, the information is just so out there and readily available about what size they're ovulating. So I never even would have questioned that. So that's an interesting perspective. And then carpet breeders, being that there's less of them, maybe the infrastructure is not the same. Having less of them that are ultrasounding in general is something that I wouldn't have.
Yeah, it drove me half nuts because it's like, how can you like, I was on in the chat on the live stream, is on NPR Morelia Python Radio, and I like basically the carpet guy, Nick Mutton, he was a guest on there, and I even asked, asked him, what size, and he just kind of laughed because I don't know. He's like, I just pair them in breeding season and that's it. It's just like, but you're the dude. You're the dude. You wrote the book. But for anybody watching, if you're breeding carpets, 25 to 30 mil, that's when you're getting your that's when she's ovulating at.
Nice. So, what else was I gonna say? That male, so the visual female I showed earlier, the pastel DGG stripe female, I put that. That's another one where I put the ultrasound on her just like 2-3 weeks ago, not thinking much of it, that she was even going to be close to ready yet. I don't even know why. And I'm like, she's at almost 25 millimeters. So I'm like, oh, we got to go. Like, we got to go now. Because I think a month ago, not even a month ago, 2 months ago or something, I ultrasounded her and there was nothing. And so I kind of was like, she just came in this year. She's probably not going to go. Like, and then I put the ultrasound on her. She's 25 millimeters. I'm like, we got to go. Like, and so I grabbed that. This was like last week, the red stripe, spot nose, yellow belly, DGG stripe, het cryptic, and throw it in. Now that's a 100% desert ghost G stripes, the whole clutch.
Yeah.
Pastel, yellow belly, spot nose, and red stripe in the mix. Again, I probably would have caught it before it was too late. I probably would have caught it sometime in the next couple of weeks, next month or so at 30, but you know what I mean?
Dude, that's still, that's close. That 30 mil point. Yeah. They always say they're either going to go or they're going to go, they're going to go downhill from there.
And I brought a girl in, the clutch I was showing at the very beginning when Regan was still down here, that super pastel banana G-stripe girl, GHI banana G-stripe girl that we paired with the banana Mojave Clown and got that cool like 1.3 clutch. I got her in from a really reputable breeder who was very upfront with me that she had been a bad eater for a while, for a very long time. So at a severe discount, I got her in as a visual, combo G-stripe female that I wanted to make double head G-stripe clown stuff. So we're nice G-stripes with, thinking that car rides, pairings, things like that get girls to go. So I thought just the flight here alone might kick her up. And he hadn't really tried much, to be honest. He's very big, so he hadn't tried a lot. So I said, I'll throw an ASF at her and see what happens.
Okay.
She got in. She got through quarantine. Because she hadn't been eating, I tested her too. I sent out for a whole bunch of things, crypto, nido, all kinds of stuff to RAL labs. She was fine. She quarantined for quite some time. It still didn't eat here, and eventually I had a blade clown male, breeder male that we wound up selling him as well and upgrade it. But I threw him in with her once. Just said, let me see if a lock will get her. I tried car ride and all kinds of stuff. So let me see if a lock will get her to eat. Threw him in. They locked. Took him out, and she ate that week. She snapped up an ASF like it was nobody's business. Like a week later, I threw 2 more in that night. She's like I said, she's almost 6 feet long, and these were ASF aren't like an adult rat. An adult ASF's like 50 grams. I think I threw 2 more in. She's hot. She's hot. She's eating. Threw them in. Like a week later, I said, she was eating, not even a week later, no, I'm sorry, a little more than a week later. Over the next couple of weeks, she was eating like crazy. And I said, she's eating like, this is insane. I hit her with the ultrasound, almost 30 millimeters. I took the banana Mojave Clown, went back in, boom, 4-egg clutch, because she was a little small. She hadn't eaten in a long time. 4-egg clutch, 1.3, all like really beautiful combo, double head, G-stripe clowns, kept all 4. You know what I mean? And now what's crazy now is, just to talk about that story in general, wrap that story up. She's like one of my best eaters. She eats like, she just, I think, got to sexual maturity, had not been paired ever yet, and went into like the 1,000-gram wall some type of hormonal thing, or was only worried about breeding or what. I don't know really. But man, she eats like, ever since she dropped that clutch, she is regular. She eats.
Okay.
She would eat as much as I would give her. She's like, she's one of those where like you have to dial them back so they don't get fat. Like,
dude, I've got 3 right now that are just a pain in my butt. I've got a pastel pied female I got from Nathan that I've tried everything. The only thing I have not tried was throwing a male in, and I haven't tried the vanilla extract yet. I keep forgetting to sneak up and steal Kara's vanilla extract. I'm afraid if she knows what I'm stealing it for, I'll get yelled at. So, but like, she's been here since like October, November, something like that. She's gone on car rides, bin changes, caves, no cave, different racks, different tubs, locations in the racks. I mean, everything. She like, I just don't know what else to do. I joked with Nathan the other night. I was like, dude, I'm almost tempted to bring her back to you, see if she won't go back on food for you, and then we'll, But the thing is, she's gaining weight, which makes no freaking sense. Because she's not eating anything. But I've got her causing me the issues. I've got my Orange Dream Exantic girl. She used to eat like a powerhouse, and I hit her with the ultrasound here, and she's at like 5-6 mil follicles, but she's off food.
Has she ever? How old is she? Has she paired before? Has she ever bred? Or
I've thrown in my Bumblebee double head male with her early in the season, because this was before I had the ultrasound. But I was going off of, trying, but some of the things I've heard Austin say about they're at that 1,100-1,200 gram mark, see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going with. And then I got the ultrasound, noticed that she didn't have anything then. So I stopped the pairings. And then I just kind of hit her once every 2 months or so, and, once a month. And I noticed this last time when I hit her with it that, she had 5-6 mil follicles. She acts interested in food, but she won't strike at it. And I've got my Spider double head Exanthic clown girl that she never missed a meal, and her sister's the one that should be ovulating any day. Well, her sister's at that like she's probably now about 1,500. Well, the spider double head, she's probably like 800.
So she's
So,
there,
like,
yeah.
she just went off food for like no freaking reason too. And then I started jumbling her around in racks trying to hit that, the reset switch, and she's not resetting on for me either. So it's like, what the heck? So
Yeah.
just those three are just Brandon. I've tried,
Yeah, I was gonna say smaller tub too, right? Put her in like a
dude.
real tub.
I've thrown them into my 1065 rack. That's where the spider double head's at right now. She's in a 1065. The ARS 10 series stuff. So I'm hoping, and that didn't reset her. I've tried different rats, or different sized rats, mice. It just, yeah, they're just really freaking weird. I am gonna try. I should have got it at the store when we were at the store today, because I know if Karen knows I'm like getting in there to, the extract for snake purposes to dabble in rats, she'll never let me, return the vanilla extract, and then I'll get yelled at for
Don't take the whole bottle. Then
eat it, and
pour a little out and take it with you. Leave the bottle upstairs.
that's true. I guess I could do that. I
didn't have a lot of luck with the vanilla. Biggest things for me have been in the 800-gram girls too small to do it, but yeah, especially the girls who get to like sexual maturity and then stop eating on me. I'm like, throw a lock to them. Maybe it's the same thing as like males going off. They're just worried about one thing, and I've had a lot of luck with that. Changing up the prey item, change up the size, like Brandon says, going a little smaller, going to an ASF or even like a mouse or something to try to kickstart them. Even just a kickstart, I'm not too afraid they're going to get hooked off of one meal of like hitting them with a mouse one time or an ASF one time.
Yeah.
So I'll try to kickstart them like that. The car ride thing I've done. I haven't had a ton though, especially in recent history, that have been too bad with eating. But except, like I said, actually the thing that probably most common happens for me, besides your breeder males, right? They get kind of crazy, but
all my males, once breeding season's going full fledged and all the hormones are circulating, 90% of those males go off food, and they might take a rat maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Until, I give them a good scrub down, change everybody's bedding out, and all the hormones kind of get out of the air, and then they kind of go back.
Yeah, the males go crazy, right? You're like trying to do stuff like wipe them down and change their bedding out. But usually a live ASF, and we fed frozen for a long time. A lot of our stuff we fed was frozen, but a live ASF will kick a male usually back up. Like,
oh, okay.
If he's off, it doesn't matter if he's pairing or not. Usually you throw like a smaller live ASF in there and they'll go. So yeah.
And maybe maybe I need to try an ASF too. I've not tried an ASF.
I'm a big fan of the ASF thing. It's crazy, man. I feed smaller meals than we don't feed. Disclaimer: if it's up for sale, it is being fed probably frozen, even rats, live worst case rats. If it's up for sale, unless I put on there specifically ASF, I would put it. If it's something that's coming out of like a breeder that we're moving off of, I would put that on there if I couldn't get the switch. But I would probably try to even switch it too while it's up on Morph Market, and then eventually drop the ASF off to rats again. But things that stay here in-house just recently within the last year, just for babies, right? Last year we hit about 8 clutches, and all of a sudden that surprises you as a new breeder. How many feedings you're doing every week when you have 8 times 6, right? 6 eggs a clutch babies that eat every 5 days on you. It gets hectic really fast, whether you're running to pick up live or you're feeding frozen, you're heating them all up, and just the price of it gets kind of crazy. So somebody suggested, dude, just start like an ASF colony or two. And then, you'll have for your first few meals, at least you have those hoppers instead of going to grab mouse hoppers or getting whatever, you can feed them the ASF while you get them started. You'll have that sustained at least for your babies. So we started the colonies for that, and we went nuts now for us. For the size, we're sitting a little over 60 animals with only 6 left up for, maybe 8 left up for sale. So most of those are part of the breeding program, probably a solid 50 at least. And so we have all in all now almost 10 ASF colonies. I think 2, 4, 6, 8. We have 8 full-size colonies and 2 little 1.4 colonies because I accidentally ordered smaller tubs at one point for the ASF, so I made 2 smaller colonies. And this week we'll set up our 9 and 10 colonies, 9 and 10. That's making more than enough ASF at this point to feed everything if I wanted. But again, stuff for sale, I still get some shipments of frozen stuff in and try to keep them all frozen rats, just because if it's eating a frozen rat, I know that if it goes to somebody with ASF, it'll eat those. I know if it'll eat live, it'll eat those. If it's eating a frozen rat, it's probably going to eat anything. So it's kind of the worst case scenario. But all our like breeder stuff right now eats ASF. And again, if I turn around and let go of a breeder like the triple het, the leopard entry triple het male that I have listed, I switched him back to frozen thawed rats when I again just in case. Because it will scare some people off, the ASF thing. But I'm a fan.
ASFs, I mean, depending where you're at, either A, you're not allowed to have them, or it's hard to come by.
Yep.
TJ, with the vanilla extract trick, you're supposed to just take like a Q-tip and rub it on like the back part of their head, like they're behind their head on their neck.
Yeah.
And supposedly, I mean, I've tried it on hatchlings with no success. I've not tried it on subadults or anything like that. So, but people claims that it works. So,
yep.
You know,
I didn't have a ton of luck, but I didn't try it a lot. That's what I was saying earlier. Like I didn't have a lot that have gone off. So 2 things that came up in the comments now, right? Brandon's saying all his stuff that's growing that eats the ASF grow like wildfire. That's what I was going to say. That's why when I started feeding just a couple for some picky eaters, how quick they went back on. Then I started doing it for the adult males that go off during breeding, and how quick they went back on food. And then when we were doing it for the babies, which again, I'll switch before they get listed. But when we were doing it for the babies, man, they were blowing up off of small meals. Like compared to a rat, these things were small, and they were blowing up fast. And I was like, that's what got me hooked. I was like, man, I'm in love with this. Like, and I've heard people say it, and I didn't put that, but it's been well. They grow so fast on ASF, it's crazy. And then Locked and Loaded saying it takes a while to get them up to size. He's talking about the ASF themselves. They top out at about the 60, 70. It's a real big established adult, 60, 70 grams. You might get some ASF to get up to 90, 100. They really will never grow past the range that you could feed to a. So it does get a size, but once you have the pipeline established, now our grow outs, now we have enough adults and enough come up behind it, you're okay, but it takes a while to get there, to get the ASF actually up to full size.
Creative, I have not tried Da Vinci yet. That's another thing that I've kind of, I should have it. I just have not dropped the trigger on buying it yet, just because, I mean, I think the price is what gets me. For all the bigger the vial that you get is, it's a crap ton of money. But it's at the same token, I mean, it's like I said, it's something that I should have, and I probably will get this year. Probably even sooner rather than later, just because of some of these girls just driving me nuts. Yeah, all right, apparently Creative's in Cali and they can't have ASFs apparently. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I said, I mean, I'm 100% team ASF now. It's really nice.
TJ says, I've heard of and want Da Vinci. I just haven't dropped to cash it. Yeah, that's kind of where Billy claims. I think he said, don't quote me on it, I think he's had like a 70% success rate with it. So
I didn't know that about Virginia.
Oh, Virginia's no ASF too. Oh, wow.
No, I did not know that.
It's everywhere's it's. I don't understand why every place is so freaking different. Like, I mean, it's a freaking little rat. It's a rodent, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's Creative saying he's got jumbo males. The males, some of the rats outgrow what a ball python can eat. So Kent talks about that sometimes in the chat. He gets them so big that it's like, I got to feed it to a boa. And if he's got more than he has boas, he's got to give them away.
Oh, shoot. Good old Ken. I'm surprised he's not in the chat tonight. Maybe he's listening. He might just be being quiet. I don't know. We're at that 2-hour point there, Charlie. So we're going to wrap it up here shortly. Who's been some of your mentors that you've had throughout your start?
Yeah. I don't have an official on the books mentor. We watched and read a ton, watched and learned from a ton of people. I have somebody who unofficially, we never like talked to each other and said like, hey, you're mentoring me or anything like that. But I had a guy who unofficially taught me a lot. He's another local Jersey guy. It was one of the early snakes I bought, was one of the early ball pythons we bought was from him. It's a guy called Danner Constrictors. He's a South Jersey guy. He's got actually a ton of animals, ton of different species. He has Instagram. He posts on Instagram, but he's not huge on social media. But I got to give him some credit. He's taught me quite a few things along the way, helped me out, whether it was, even with ID and some stuff to just, hey, I ran into this female's not eating or whatever. What do you suggest? Things like that. So other than that, I mean, there's probably a ton of people I can give credit to that have gotten, asked questions to and gotten help from along the way, but nobody specific as like a long term. I seed questions around a bit, so I don't bug any one person. But certainly, and then you have the people who give a ton of public information. Billy was sharing stuff for free for, every day through the whole pandemic, right? So
yeah. So, even if you watch my channel, my content, like there's so much information that spews out just during that he's handing out for free.
Yeah, exactly. So, and there's a lot of free info out there. You got to filter through it and listen to see what's true and what's not. And some of it you got to find out for yourself. But yeah, I mean, a ton of people have been good to us, and answered questions for me and helped me, but nobody specific as like a constant mentor really, except the one I mentioned, the guy John. So
okay.
Yeah.
Here, I thought you were going to mention our good buddy Danny. I really thought you were going to say Danny.
No, Danny tells everybody that their clutch was terrible and toss it. So,
it's all bird food. Just take it to the sanctuary.
Why'd you even breed that? Who breeds this shit?
I'll still never. My favorite was his clutch where he got like. He had like 4 or 5 clown combos and one that wasn't a clown combo, and he was quote unquote pissed that the odds gods took a shit on him, and it's like, dude, it's like you, because I think it was like on some stupid like, is either visual to a het or a het to a het, and like he nailed it out of the park, and I'm sitting there like, what the hell are you talking about? But Danny, if you're watching this, bro, we love you.
I watch and just try to learn and absorb from some of the people who have been really successful. That's a big part. Just to watch, model what they do, try to figure out why they'd be doing it. Like I said, I have a business background, so try to put together why would they do it that way. It fits into like this or this that would be in any other industry, and just kind of take that and run with it. So.
Creatives nailed it. Just ask in the chat and Billy will spill it. LOL. Yep, that's basically it there. The things I've learned from Billy and how he's shaping, the things I've just basically the way he's shaping my way of thinking and all this. Granted, I know I'm still doing some things that would probably drive him like up a freaking wall. But then, I'm still at that point where I know what I need to do, but I've got some animals that they're just here because I like them. They're not necessarily here to make the big bucks with. But yeah, let's see here. Well, those states allow frozen ASFs. Now the frozen ASF that should be fine, Frank. I think you're just not allowed to have like live ASF.
I would imagine that's the only problem.
If you're ordering, I don't know if. What, Cold-Blooded Cafe or Rodent Pro? I would assume that they probably do ASF. I'm not sure though, but you should be able to order from something like that. But I've got two last things to hit with you, Charlie. How do how do you make time for all of this and the family? Because it's
Yeah.
a like, and maybe it's just because we've added the baby here late, within the past 6 weeks. I'm finding it super freaking exhausting, and it's just hard to keep the kids happy, the wife happy, and doing all of this. Snakes, YouTube, like it's hard. Like it's really hard for me to find the time to balance it at the moment.
Yep.
So, how do you do it? Because you've got a
Yeah.
lot on too.
Yeah. I'm in some ways, I'll say this. I don't sleep a lot. So that's, that's part of where the hours come from. I work an incredible amount of hours at the day job. I know a lot of people do. I know I'm not alone in that, but the day job is I run a 24/7 manufacturing facility.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I can get calls. I mean, I've been peeking over every now and then at the phone and the emails because they're in there sending emails and updates on what's going on in there even right now. So I'll get calls and stuff through weekends, have meetings and stuff even on weekends and stuff like that. So I'm already working a ton of hours there. I'm fortunate in some ways that Regan, as you saw was down here earlier. She will do a lot of the stuff with me. She's getting to be not so hot, not so keen on the cleaning and the work aspects. Since she started off in school, she's into the first grade now, right? She's got friends and other things she wants to do a little bit now, so she's leaned out a little bit on me. But in some ways, when I'm trying to just do some of the simpler stuff, steal some stuff for social media, as you guys see a lot of the reels and the goofy stuff we do, I can just keep her involved in that.
Dude, it warms my heart seeing like the reels and stuff you guys post up because like they're really cute and I think it's just really cool.
Yeah, so I got that going. Until recently, we got a puppy a couple months ago. I had the added benefit of my wife was doing a ton of the cleaning during the day. She'd stay at home. So while I'm not at work, she would come in and clean almost all that. She'd clean, even if she didn't do all the tubs in a day, she'd do a rack or two. I'd come in, there'd be like one rack left, or I'd come, she did that rack the day before. So I'd come in and I'm peeking through and most of them haven't gone to the bathroom or anything. I'm good. So I got away with doing very minimal there. So recently with the puppy, he's training and stuff like that. He needs more attention and more walks. She's been less involved with that, but I imagine as he settles down, she'll be able to do it again there. So right now I'm picking up a little more extra duty, but I mean, I'll wait till after bedtime. Like I said, I don't sleep a lot. I'll wait till after Reagan goes to bed. I'll come down. I'll do the spot cleaning through everything. I have a schedule. This is the biggest thing I can give you. I have a schedule. So Sunday and Monday night are feeding nights. I do 2 nights, kind of for 2 reasons. 1, to spread it out so it's not so much in one night. And 2, so that I have an opportunity if somebody doesn't eat something Sunday night, I give it to somebody who would have been the Monday eater.
Yeah.
So, there's less waste. I trickle down kind of in that way. And so I'll do most of it Sunday night and I'll pick up maybe like 10 of them on Monday night really quick. So then cleanings are basically, Monday night before I feed, I might do a couple more spot cleanings if she hasn't been in here during the day. Tuesday, there's a lot of cleaning that goes on. Wednesday, I'll clean. And then just a couple, again, less than probably an hour of cleaning. And then we ultrasound a few. And we're not ultrasounding all of them at the same time either. We'll ultrasound every Wednesday. So it'll only be a couple this week and a couple next week.
Okay.
Thursday, I'll go through, do some more. Again, so just some spot cleanings. We just spread the cleanings out almost every day, except for feeding days. Do some spot cleanings, and then we'll throw the pairings together that we decided from the ultrasound the night before who's due.
Okay.
Friday night, I don't do much in here, really. Everybody's a couple of days out from eating. We've been cleaning almost every day all week. So Friday night, I might hang out with like the Keys group over on Hair Down, or there's a Zoom call that I'm usually a part of with a handful of people. And maybe I'll take some snakes out and show them. I'll spot clean while I'm talking to them. I'll clean Friday night while I'm on the Zoom with them.
Okay.
Saturday night, there's usually not much left. So I had all day Saturday to hang out, Sunday all day to hang out with the family. And then, Sunday night again after bedtime is feeding, we're back around. I just kept that. We literally put, Wednesday's ultrasound, Thursday's pair, Sundays feed, Mondays clean. Every other day you just sprinkle in. We just work through. We start with, anytime we start biosecurity, we start with the babies, the least risk animals, females, and then move to the males. So if we know we did babies and females yesterday, we do males today. But
Okay.
we just rotate through.
I have something similar. Like, I'm normally up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, if I know I've got girls that are due to ovulate, I'll check in the morning before I leave for work. Other than that, I'll come home from work, get my shower, get cleaned up and stuff. Because normally I'm just basically a crust ball from doing my job. But I'll come down here quick, just pull open the bins, see what I've got, kind of getting into for that night cleaning wise. Go upstairs, be with the family and everybody. Once we put Hadley to bed and Kara's settled in with the baby, I'll come back down here. Now I'm either doing bins, editing videos, making thumbnails, any of that stuff. During when I've got a bunch of hatchlings, Thursday and Friday are my feed nights. Okay. And then if I need to, then I'll trickle into Saturday for some of the adults and stuff. But normally just Thursday and Fridays. Kara used to yell at me because we'd be out doing something, and I'd be like, hey, we got to get back. I got to thaw rats out yet tonight. And I got my butt into a sling many a times for being the Debbie Downer of the good times because of, having to get, feed animals. So she deemed that I had to do it during the week when it wouldn't interfere with anything. Yep. And then, so Saturday is basically open. If they go off to do something that I don't really want to go do.
I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I laughed at creative genetics comment, but anyway, go. I'm still listening to you.
Creative.
I want to see Jenna's answer to this.
The answer would be yes, creative, but yes. Anyway, gonna get my ass in another sling. Well,
very nice answer. Very nice. Well done. She said.
Jana, you're awesome.
Oh man.
At some point, Jana, I am hitting you up to be on here as well. And also now knowing that you're a Star Wars person, you are on my list for something I got special planned in May. So be ready for that hit up on that one.
That's when she killed me. That was the last person I expected. She killed me on the Star Wars thing earlier. She was
dude, she had you up in front of the firing squad on that one. I was impressed when she said she's like it's like, all right, we're adding a person onto my roster here for the nerdy stuff here. So but anyway,
so the way we break it up.
What's that?
I said the way we break it up like that. I'm spending an hour, maybe 2 a night. Like Regan goes to bed at 8:30. I'm spending like an hour or 2 up here or down here doing this, and then I'm back upstairs hanging out watching TV with the wife and stuff like that, and rinse and repeat the next day. We just broke it up to a daily thing on a routine, and just sticking to that routine. It just keeps me honest on it.
And I'm a very routine oriented person, and big thing is if something comes up and throws my routine off, oh dude, that is like the freaking worst. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have a hard time recovering from that, especially some of those late nights. Like I'll get home at like every once in a while I'll have a night where I get home at like 8 o'clock at night, just because work went long. We had to get whatever prepped and ready because the next day was getting paved, and just massively long day. I get home and it's just like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. It's like I got to eat, get cleaned up, go down to the snakes, do all this other crap, and it just drives me nuts. But anyway, all right, last question. It's really not a question, but do you have any tips for anybody either getting into it, thinking about getting into it, that's already in it with breeding ball pythons or just breeding in general?
I guess. Man, I hate giving out tips because I still feel like even at 3 years, I still feel like I still have so much to learn, and I'm not the authority on anything, but something that I think that I'm getting right and doing right now, and hopefully it showed through what I was showing earlier. You can see we're growing stuff up that's a little bit of a step up in the projects that we're preparing for this year, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is think long term, right? So you know, don't fall into, and everybody does it, it's really easy, and probably most of our audience here already is past this point, but everybody falls into like chasing down all these different eye candy things, this project, that project, oh, I want to make one of these, I want to make one of those. It's not sustainable. Pick 2-3 projects that you want to go on, unless you got unlimited resources and you can overnight. You're not going to do what like you see Justin and Billy and Garrett Meyer do. They drop something in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, way more than that when he comes like a Justin, right? Different projects all the time. Yeah. You're not going to be there. You're not, like, again, unless you got you crazy, rich from whatever else in life. You're not going to do that overnight. You're not going to wave the wand. So pick 2-3 strong things and load up on that. Really just focus on that. I mean, you want a little diversity, right? Because if that project starts to die out or something, you don't want to be stuck on one thing either. But you can't go after 10 different things and do like one-to-ones and stuff. If it's a hobby, you know what? I take that back. If you're doing this purely as a hobby, breed whatever the heck you want to breed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't load the world up with a ton of animals that you can't pay for. Be ready. I guess my advice on that would be ready to take care of them yourself too, though. They may not move if you're just doing this as a hobby and you're not investing to that degree. But yeah, then if this is what you really want to make, you want to make yourself a bumblebee, make a bumblebee. That's fine. Again, be ready and have a sustainable plan to feed those animals and care for them if no one takes them. Be responsible about it. But if you're looking to do this as a business, you got to think 3 moves, 4 moves, 5 moves down the line. I could make, if I didn't put, that's the reason I put like some of those triple het girls in the rack this past year. If I don't put those in the rack this year, I might make a really awesome couple of animals this year, right? But if they're females, I'm 3 years out from doing anything with them. Even if it's a killer male, again, if I don't have something already growing up, he'll be up to size in a year, and then what? I'm going to have to run out and buy stuff. Then you can do it. I mean, breeder females, especially in this market now, 2 years ago, in the middle of the pandemic, you couldn't buy a breeder female. There was barely any on morph market at one point. I remember you'd search adult female and you'd see like 50. There were days like that. I was like 50. Like if you filter one thing out, like if you didn't want spider or cinnamon or something, you were at literally like 50 or less breeder females available. That's not the case now, so maybe you could. But I guess what I'm saying is sit down, have a vision, and start to look at it, efficiency and maximizing. Yeah, exactly. Jenna knows what I'm talking about. Now there's breeder females out there available. It's crazy. I can't believe we're like spoiled by it now. But
well, I think maybe I'm wrong on this, but I do think, wow, that light really makes me look pale. Anyway, I think a lot of it too that you're seeing is that there's a lot of people jumping ship.
Yeah.
And that's also what's leading to there being a lot more breeder ready stuff on the market.
Maybe that's the tip I should have gave too. The whole time I said, what if nothing sells in a given month? Obviously you gotta, you can't really plan for the doomsday scenario. You'll never take a risk. Scared money doesn't make money. I get that. But you got to be ready to go in any business. You got to be ready to go for a little while. Especially something that's semi-seasonal like this tax season, you definitely see upticks. You know what I mean? Like the winter, you definitely can't ship as much. There is a little bit of a seasonality to it, like it or not. Not even just in when they lay, because I don't really buy into that all the way. I see stuff go all year round, but this selling actually happens somewhat seasonal. So you got to be ready to go a couple of months feeding all the animals you have, and it may be a shit ton of babies depending on how many pairings you're doing. So you just got to be ready for that, so you don't. And then
that's that. And I'm glad you bring that up, because that's the one thing for me, and probably a lot of people too. A lot of your clutches, when by the time they're ready to go, it's at like that Thanksgiving Day point.
Yes,
and it's like you don't want to ship around Thanksgiving. Or like Thanksgiving and Christmas, to me, that's like basically a no-fly zone just because of stuff shipping for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then after Christmas, it's too freaking cold 90% of the time. Granted, this year it was actually really mild.
Yeah. But yeah, you're gonna be stuck with a bunch of snakes at times.
Yeah.
Going to happen. Be ready.
yeah. Just unless you're doing shows, be ready to sit on them for a little bit.
Yep. I don't know, the getting out thing too, it's work, right? People should know that. Again, there will be work involved. It is not a, I think that I said earlier, the numbers are great. The returns on this is a part of what I liked about it. Ball pythons versus other species. The returns on this are ridiculous. You can't get these returns on much other investments. It's crazy. But there is work. It doesn't mean that they can come fast. You can buy breeders. You can make the money actually fast. I'll argue with people who say that. It's not a get rich overnight thing. I mean, you can make a lot of money really fast in this, but it doesn't mean there's no work involved. It's not an get rich easy scheme, I'll say.
Yeah.
It's how much do you want to invest and how hard do you want to work? And then there's only so much you can control on it, right? As far as getting the females actually to go, you're stuck waiting for them to develop follicles and to lay eggs. I mean, you can only do so much about that, but yeah, it's tough. People getting out, it's tough to see. I hate to see it, actually. I don't get excited about that at all. So.
And it's the one thing that I hate to see is like people that were just starting out. Like if you watched like their Instagram, like their social media stuff, like watching them pump all these huge, like semi-pricey animals into their collection, and there was one person, I was sitting back watching them, and I'm just there thinking, it's like, dude, it's like I know you what you're thinking, but it's like you're gonna burn yourself out real freaking quick going about the way that you're doing it. And I think that person only got, well, by the time their first clutch hit the ground, they were already getting out.
Yeah.
and it was just like, I felt bad, and I had even told that person, it's like, just slow down, like let what you've already got invested, let that like get a couple clutches under your belt. And I mean, and I'm not like, I'm in it as long as you, and you're leaps and bounds ahead of me by all means, but it's like when you see it, like it's hard to not say something to people. It's like, just like, slow down just a little bit, just a little bit.
Well, I think to simplify my answer is have a plan, right? Just have it, sit down and think about, what am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if that happens? You can't second guess it to death and overanalyze and not move. I'm not saying that, but have a plan. So I see people talking about most businesses don't make a profit for several years. Yep. I can make an argument. I can run some numbers to show you that I think you can make money in breeding reptiles in about 2. That's not the norm, and it's a unique way to do it that a lot of people don't buy into. And there's more risk involved, as with anything, because you're buying adult animals and there's bio risk and stuff involved. But you could do it in about 2, but that's not the norm, and I don't think you should plan on that. But whatever it is, sit down and write a plan, and that will help too when you hit those moments of doubt, right? So when you hit that time where it's a lot of work all of a sudden, and there's other family stuff going on, and the dog is sick, and things like that, and you're like, man, I got to get out of this. You can look back at your plan. If you sat down and you wrote your plan, you can look back at it and say, no, I have a plan. I believe that I was right when I wrote this, or you can modify it at times too, but I have to stay the course on this. We did a reel to joke about the reels we do are most of the time goofy and stuff like that. But we did one recently where I was saying, you're going to have doubts. We had doubts. There's times my wife and I said, what have we gotten into? And, maybe this is too much there. And then that was sometime mid last year. And this year we're talking about up to 25 clutches. Again, you gotta persevere through some of that. At a point, decide that this is what I want to do. And this is what I'm into, I don't know. Maybe it's not for you. If you're not good for the animals and they're starting to suffer for it, then you know what? Then get out. Yeah. And you know what I mean? It's not right to do. But if it's just that it's starting to get to be hard work at times, again, if you wrote a plan and you believe in it, and I think you think it makes sense, and you look at it and say, am I still on course? If not, is there something I can adjust to get back on course? If not, then maybe you need to start having the get out thing. But again, I think if you do that, you'll convince yourself, okay, no, we're just stay the course. So
yep. I know I told my wife, and I even told my boss at work, I was like, 8 years. 8 years is my plan, and I'm done doing my job. If my job doesn't break my body before that. But anyway, 8 years. So that was last year. So I'm down to 7 years as of now.
There you go.
But I mean, is it doable? Yes. Is it going to happen? Hey, it might maybe take 9, 10 years. But, I gave myself that goal. And the way everything is right now, like the snakes all pay for everything that's going on here. So I'm happy, that everything's at that point, even at this point.
Yep.
I want to do the expansion. The snakes are going to be paying for that for this year. Adding some more rack space, this and that. The snakes are paying everything this year is going towards all of that. It's not really, nothing's really coming out of my money anymore.
Awesome. That's huge in itself. That's a huge milestone. That's a huge milestone in itself. Like, when you start to hit the sales numbers in a month that pay for all the feeding and any new deli cups you get to buy and all that stuff, when you hit that where month to month it's just sustaining itself, is like, it was a huge. We did that like tail end of last year, and that was just a huge like sigh of relief. Like, all right, we're here, and again the reassurance, like this is working. This is what it looks like, what the math's fleshed out to to be.
Well, with the deli cups, how often do you change your deli cups out for your water bowls?
I don't know if they get pooped in or something like that. I'm probably gonna just toss it. I don't get too stingy with them, but a lot of times, I mean, I'll bring a bucket around on cleaning day with me. I'll dump a deli cup in there, wipe it out. If it doesn't come up real gross or whatever, I'll just fill it back up. You know what I mean? I might throw a little chlorhexidine, wipe it, and then top it back up. If it's got, like I said, if it gets like a pee or a poop or something, then I'm not even gonna mess with it. Dump it in the bucket and throw the deli cup out and put a new deli cup in. I don't get crazy. One of the things I probably go through the most is gloves. I'm like you didn't see it because I'm dipping off a camera. And tonight I didn't wear gloves on the live. I'm dipping off a camera and hand sanitizing between every snake I touch, like crazy. When I'm in here cleaning and I'm not just touching the snakes, but I'm touching waste and stuff like that, I'm glove changing. Like I have a science background. I went to school for chemistry for my undergrad. I went back later for business, but I'm glove changing like I'm in a lab, like I'm going to cross contaminate something, which is a real risk with when we talk about biosecurity. So I'm changing gloves between everything. So that's probably a higher expense for me than deli cups by a long shot.
Yeah. See, my thing, like with mine, my whole system is, 1 week, the week that I don't feed, the deli cups just get dumped because I'm fortunate. I have my sump pump here in the basement that's actually in the snake room, so I just dump everything
right in the pit.
Yeah, dump it right in the pit, and then once the float gets up so high, it pumps it out anyway.
Goes out. Yep.
So I've got that, but then on the week that I feed is when everybody gets a fresh water bowl. And Jana might yell at me on this one if she's still in here. What I do though is instead of because fingers knock on wood, I have not had a snake go to the bathroom in their deli cup yet at all. So I'm fortunate on that one. It's probably going to happen tonight now. But what I do is I'll just go upstairs and, after that week that they fed, give everybody a fresh water bowl, go upstairs with them, one day that week, and just don't dish soap everything and scrub them out really good and bring them back down here and let them dry off.
Okay.
So
toss. But again, everything's different, right? So it's cost structure too. A lot of the stuff that we're in is high end. So I have a lot of room when I talk from the business side, I have a lot of room in my margin to absorb a pretty good amount of operating costs. Like I could toss deli cups and paper towels and gloves all day. One animal puts it so far from that,
that's true.
Puts the margin so far from that. So, and I see a comment here about like people talking about risk, $100 on a slot, not 30K on snakes. That's one other thing I'd say to people: don't gamble, right? So you can't put everything on like one. I mean, you can, and you could get lucky and put everything on like one clutch, but then you're really leaving a lot up to fate, and that's not a business strategy, right? You could get lucky and you could hit a killer animal. You could go buy 2 quad heads and you could hit a triple visual animal, and then put that to 4 females next year and make a ton of money. But what if that girl doesn't go? Like, what if she just reabsorbs? What if he won't lock her? What if they get sick? Like, that doesn't. So you have to hedge and still go across a couple of animals here. It's why am I yelling at you?
Jen, I didn't say that you were yelling at me. I thought maybe you might possibly yell at me for being a cheapskate and going through the hassle of, you know, washing the water bowls instead of just pitching them, giving all fresh and all that stuff.
I enjoy it.
Just from, because I could see the biosecurity aspect of, well, if something survived the washing aspect of it and it not going to that same snake, that there's, you know, there's that
When we
risk.
started, we would wash deli cups and do that. I stopped as I learned more about biosecurity. And also, you got to understand, so how many animals do you have?
It's probably about 60.
Okay, so you have
Not
similar
including
animals.
the hatchlings out.
Yeah. How many did you bring in as hatchlings versus adults?
I've never brought anything. Well, no, that's a lot. I brought in one 4-year-old and then like 2 sub-adults.
So we have a very different level of risk in our collections too. Then I have brought in a significant number, more adults probably than hatchlings. Most stuff I have in hatchlings is stuff that I produced versus bought. I've bought after about the first year, years 2 and 3 were almost exclusively adult purchases.
Oh, okay.
In a handful, like the triple het, or at least sub-adult. Not all that had ever seen another animal, but just the fact that they lived longer, had been in at least one other collection before mine, put me at a higher risk of bringing something in with a disease. Just a fact. So I've had to do things like we stopped reusing bowls. I try not to swap. I used to take all the tubs and start just throwing them in a pile as they're dirty, go wash all the tubs, and eventually put all the tubs back, and an animal could land in a different tub. Hell, I try not to do that. I do mostly spot cleaning. If something needs a deep clean, I mean, that animal's moving maybe to another tub. I might put it in something, clean its tub, and put it right back in the same tub.
Okay.
I've done a bunch of testing. Again, if somebody had a collection of almost everything they produced, almost everything brought in pure lace hatchlings, maybe you could get away with less testing. Since I've brought in so many adults, I mean, we'll randomly test a lot of the time now, just when they come in with no symptoms of anything, tail end of quarantine, still swab them and send out for a test before I put them in the rack, just because buying adults puts me at a higher risk. So
that makes sense. See, I enjoy getting them as babies and watching them grow. I know it's the longer road, but I don't know. It's just my. I just love watching that change.
It's more expensive to do it the way I did it. It's more risk the way I did it. But it also is why the collection looks like a more mature collection in some ways, right?
Yeah.
And it shortens my time for the ROI, right? So that was a part of the name of the game for me, right? I become, again, I work in manufacturing. I have engineers that I've been working with for years that are under me in our org structure and things like that. At the end of the day, efficiency, like I constantly think in terms of efficiency, time before I see a return, things like that. So that really heavily influenced the way I made purchases. I was okay with spending a little bit more for the adult because I'm going, okay, or even adding like another recessive on that adult because I'm going, okay, the return is going to be 6 times your money back in 1 year. So it's yeah.
I get that. I mean, I see where you're coming from on that one.
Yeah. There's different, again, it doesn't mean it's a right way. There's
It's several different ways to accomplish the same freaking goal.
Yep.
Totally agree. Dude, it is like almost 11:40.
No, we ran for a while. I can talk.
Dude, no, I like this. All right, I don't know how long the last couple of lives has been. I enjoy my long lives. It's just like especially when I was laid off, I could have, dude, we could have talked all freaking night and I wouldn't have cared. But now with having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go deal with idiots all day, it just kind of, I got to have a certain level of patience and maintain that level of patience until I get home and not let the kids drive me nuts. Because poor Hadley, dude, she's been she loves her little brother, but she is testing all of us like to the freaking brink every night. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. It's like, oh, she just, like, I love her. She's my little princess, but she drives me up a wall.
I don't miss the no sleep phase, man. I was just talking to military morphs about that. Be ready. It's tough, man. They got a kid on the way.
TJ says, Jeremy, I mean, no marathon talkathon tonight.
No, we're gonna let you get to bed.
No, you're. Let's see. Who do I have next week? Everybody, we've got John from Underworld. So make sure you guys do not miss that. That's going to be a great live. Still need to book somebody on the 16th, and Jana, I don't know. Just Hadley and herself is enough to sometimes, like, she can melt my heart, but at the same token, she knows what exactly to do to set old dad off real quick too. She knows, and I know she knows what she's doing, because today I pointed at her, I was like, knock it off, and she looked at me, and she pointed her finger and touched her finger against mine. She goes, knock it off. Like, oh, but yeah, I love her. She's my princess, and that's she's got dad wrapped around her finger. But boys are nice, Jana. Dom's 16. Well, he'll be 16 on the 10th, so that's a whole new level of stress for me. Dom's 16, then we've got Hudson, which is only 6 weeks, but he's so freaking mellow. Oh my God, he's mellow. Even compared to how Hadley was as a baby, like, just mellow as all hell. Anyway, got off topic. I got to find a guest for the 16th yet. I've got a few ideas. I tried to get Elijah from Juggernaut, but he didn't respond to my message on Instagram. So I'm just kind of abandoned ship on that one, and find a new guest. On the 23rd, I've got Paul from Large Marge Morphs. That's always a tongue twister for me. And on the 30th, I've got Eric Burke of EB Morelia. So we're going to be talking carpet pythons and Australian species on that one. So that's going to be an exciting one, because everybody knows carpet's got a sweet place in my heart. So I was actually hoping Xander would have came out and, like, did a shed thing while we were live, because he's, like, due to shed, like, today. But apparently he's just hiding out in his cave tonight. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching this live stream tonight. Charlie, thank you so much, dude, for joining me and being the guest. It's awesome to get to sit down just to hang out with you. And everybody, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button as well, because that helps our content get into the algorithm. And on top of it, make sure you guys hit that notification bell, just that way you know next time I upload more content. Every Wednesday is a video drop. This week, I don't know what this week's video drop's going to be. I'm not going to lie. I've got a vending thing that I can drop. I've got a new pickup that I could drop that everybody's joking around that it'll be producing babies by the time the video drops. We'll see what actually ends up coming out this week. I've got the clutch update to throw out yet. Got tons of stuff. So I just got to figure out what do I want to surprise you folks with. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Greatly appreciate it. Charlie, hang on here 1 second, and I will catch you guys next Sunday. And don't forget to check out Wednesday's video, folks. Have a good night. Later.